My child, stop everything right now and listen, because what I'm about to say cannot wait. You didn't just make it out of that storm. You walked through fire that was designed to end you, yet here you are still standing. Heaven saw what you endured. Hell tried everything to crush you. People looked on thinking you'd collapse under the weight of all that pain. But I watched you choose me when it wasn't easy, when it wasn't popular, and when everything inside of you screamed to give up. You held on. You fought with silent tears and broken strength. And because of that, because you chose to stay when everything told you to walk away, you passed. But now, I need more from you than just survival. I need your full attention, right now, more than ever before. The danger isn't over because the trial is behind you. No, in fact, this is when the most dangerous trap begins. The illusion of peace. The comfort of celebration. The deception that the test was a final challenge. My child, the real battle starts tonight. You've just stepped into the next level, and that level demands greater clarity, sharper discernment, and undivided attention. You cannot afford to drift into routine or relax into comfort. This moment is sacred. This season will be demanding. But I have chosen you for it. I am speaking urgently because your distraction in this hour could cost what I have been preparing you to carry. People may say you deserve to rest now, but I am saying rise, because your passing was not an ending, it was a beginning. There is a new weight of glory coming on you. But with it comes responsibility, warfare, and the need to listen closely to my every instruction. I will not shout over the noise of your comfort. I will whisper guidance in stillness, and if your mind is elsewhere, you will miss it. So stop everything that is not aligned with my spirit. Turn your full attention to me. Because I am not just speaking, I am moving, and you must move with me. This is not the time to delay, second guess, or question what I've already confirmed. You are about to enter territory that requires a different version of you. Not the one who barely made it, but the one who knows they were carried by grace for a purpose. You will not fight alone, but you must be fully awake. Tonight changes everything. The real battle begins, and I need you alert, armed, and aligned with my voice. You are not just a survivor. You are my chosen soldier. And this battlefield belongs to those who don't just hear, but obey. So stop everything. Look at me, and prepare. I need you to understand something now. The pain you thought was your breaking point was never meant to finish you. It was engineered to shape what was still undeveloped inside you. Every moment you wept thinking it was over was actually the place where I planted something eternal within you. You stood at the edge of hopelessness, but what you didn't see was the foundation I was reinforcing underneath the surface. The shaking, the loss, the isolation, none of it was accidental. I was using every shattered expectation, every closed door, and every betrayal to strengthen you for what I have orchestrated next. What others saw as failure I called formation. What looked like abandonment was actually the removal of voices that would have distorted my instructions in the next phase. What looked like silence from me was me training your spirit to discern without needing confirmation from the crowd. You didn't see the reward at the end of the dark hallway, but you kept walking. And because of that obedience, even in confusion, I have opened what no man can shut. But I warn you, child, do not look back. Do not rehearse what I have already healed. Do not dwell on how it felt or how long it took. As season served its purpose, and it must now be left behind. Where I am taking you, those weights cannot follow. Your identity was not forged in the applause of others. It was forged in the hidden places where no one celebrated your steps but me. What you were walking through wasn't death, it was development. And now that the time has arrived, you must carry what I've placed in you with sacred confidence, not self-doubt. I am not raising you to be a memory of what hurt you. I am releasing you into the reality of what I've always had waiting. Divine assignments, influence wrapped in humility, doors that were locked until this very hour. But they are not open to make you comfortable. They are open because you're finally ready to walk in who I said you were all along. You will soon see why I delayed what you prayed for. It wasn't punishment. It was timing. You needed this strength. You needed this clarity. And you needed to be disconnected from what would have diluted your calling. So remember this. The chapter that felt like destruction was construction. And now that you've been built in the secret place, I will unveil you in the appointed place. But stay humble. Don't chase what I didn't send. Don't reach for what I removed. Stay in posture. Stay in alignment. Because what looked like the end is now proving to be the launching ground for glory. You've been misjudged, misunderstood, and even misnamed by those who only saw the surface of your struggle. They witnessed the trials but never recognized the transformation. But I did. I wasn't looking at the outward display of what you endured. I was focused on the internal shift that was happening within you. They saw someone under pressure, but I saw a warrior in refinement. What they labeled as weakness, I was using as the very environment to strengthen your discernment, your authority, and your intimacy with me. This was never just a test, it was training ground for destiny. And now, a line is being drawn tonight that separates who you were from who I have refined you to become. That invisible line is what I'm walking you across. I am stepping into your moment with a finality that says, the former things have passed. You are no longer being prepared. You are being positioned. You are no longer learning to hear me. You are now assigned to speak what I've revealed. The weight of the wilderness was not wasted. It produced something in you that the next season demands. Tonight isn't a celebration of survival. It is a declaration of activation. What you endured wasn't random. It was exact. I counted every moment. I measured every predator. And I timed this moment with precision, because tonight is where everything pivots. You'll no longer move as one seeking validation. You will move as one carrying authority. I am not sending you back into the same spaces. I'm sending you forward with a new assignment, and your presence will disrupt patterns that have lingered in darkness for too long. But you must be aware, many won't recognize this version of you. Some won't know how to respond to the shift because they never expected you to rise. That's not your concern. I didn't prepare you in the shadows so you could explain yourself in the spotlight. Your power is not in what you say. It's in the mantle you carry. You will feel it even when you walk into rooms silently. Chains will start to rattle, hearts will start to stir, and eyes will turn, not because of you, but because of the Spirit resting upon you. This is the turning point I've been orchestrating all along. Don't look for signs in the natural. Feel it in your spirit. You're crossing into a divine assignment that cannot be interrupted by opinions or delayed by fear. You are not who you were at the beginning of this fire. That version hath been buried in the ashes of your obedience. And what rises now is purpose that's been through purification. I need you to trust what I've put in you. Not second-guess it. Not analyze it. Not shrink it. You were trained in the place of pressure so that when you reached this pivot, you would not fold under the weight of what I'm releasing. You passed the test because you surrendered. Now walk into this turn with eyes fixed on me. The real battle begins not with war around you, but with the choices you make when no one is watching. That's where the victories will be decided. In the silent yes, in the quiet obedience, in the small steps no one applauds. This is not just a change of season. This is a shift in the spirit realm, and it starts tonight. There is a weight in the spiritual realm that comes not from titles or applause, but from endurance that refuses to break when no one is watching, and you, my child, carry that weight now. What you walked through was never meant to be merely survived. It was structured to be passed. There were moments you thought the silence meant absence, but I was closer than your breath, monitoring every response, observing your heart posture when the answers didn't come, and heaven was taking record. What man didn't honor, the courts of glory celebrated. What earth dismissed, heaven documented. You may not realize it, but the moment you chose to believe even when you had no proof, the moment you chose to worship while everything in you was breaking, That was when the angels began to stand in recognition of your endurance. And now that you've passed, you're carrying the scent of one who's been tried and not found wanting. You carry a fragrance that disturbs the enemy and draws my presence. The fire that tried to burn you has only lit the oil I placed within you, and you now move with a flame that cannot be quenched. You passed because you didn't trade your purpose for comfort, and that decision has shifted the atmosphere around you. There's been a supernatural announcement made in the heavens, a divine marking that you've been elevated in realms unseen. This elevation isn't about being seen or celebrated. It's about responsibility. You now carry authority to speak into places others are too wounded to reach. You will walk into environments that once oppressed you, and this time, you will shift them. You're no longer on the defense. You've been handed weapons that only the refined can wield. But I must warn you, with this weight comes visibility, and with visibility comes opposition. Don't be startled when those who once ignored you now start to target you. They are not drawn to your personality. They are responding to the oil. This is why I allowed certain people to leave your life before now. They couldn't walk with you into what I've now entrusted to you. Some may try to reattach themselves, but listen closely. I will show you who is for your calling and who is only interested in your comfort. Don't confuse familiarity with loyalty. Some are only safe around you when you are silent. But now that your voice carries power, they will feel the distance even before you speak. Don't let that distract you. Fix your eyes on the assignment. The heavens have shifted in your favor, and that shift demands movement. I am bringing people to you, those who were praying for a voice like yours to rise. They've been hidden, just like you were, but now their release is tied to your obedience. Do not minimize the impact of your yes. You think you passed a private trial, but you've actually qualified for a public outpouring. What's coming next cannot be explained. It will be revealed. And when it begins to unfold, you'll remember these words: you didn't survive for yourself. You passed because your breakthrough was connected to theirs. Now walk with purpose, because heaven is watching and earth is about to feel the results. You've crossed through what many never escape, and while others breathe a sigh of relief at survival, I must draw your attention to what's ahead, because the fight has only just shifted form. The external storm you weathered was only the introduction. Now comes the more subtle, more dangerous war, the one that targets what you carry, not where you've been. This isn't about recovery anymore. It's about destiny. The enemy didn't lose interest because the fire didn't consume you. He's furious because it didn't stop you. And now that you've stepped into spiritual promotion, his tactics must evolve. This battle is not for your comfort, your image, or your name. It's a direct assault against the very thing I formed in you before the foundations of the world: your purpose. The weight of your assignment threatens the kingdom of darkness more than your survival ever did. Hell has recalibrated its strategy, not to take your breath, but to derail your calling. And it won't always come through obvious opposition. Sometimes it will show up dressed in distraction. Sometimes it will feel like confusion, fatigue, even success that slowly draws your eyes off me. That's why I need your alertness now like never before. You passed the test, but now you must defend the victory. You must guard the ground you just took. There will be whispers trying to convince you to shrink again, to return to the lesser version of yourself that others could control. There will be subtle invitations to compromise, not all at once, but in small, slow doses, wrapped in comfort, coated in logic, and justified by fear. But hear me. Purpose cannot be negotiated. You can't dilute it to be accepted. You can't delay it to feel safe. And you can't hand it over to anyone who didn't suffer with you to earn it. This next war will be within. It will battle for your focus, your priorities, your decisions. You'll be tempted to maintain the image of breakthrough while privately abandoning the weight of obedience. Don't fall for it. I didn't rescue you to make you popular. I raised you to be dangerous to darkness. Every step you take from here carries significance that ripples in the spirit. Your choices now build or break the momentum I've placed on your life. This is why distractions will intensify. This is why you may feel a strange pressure, even when things seem peaceful on the surface. Because when purpose wakes up, warfare follows. You become a threat now, not because of your voice, but because of what your obedience will unlock. That's why I'm warning you ahead of time. Be vigilant. The greater war isn't outside of you. It's against your agreement with what I've spoken over you. If the enemy can't kill you, he'll try to convince you to forfeit. He'll use weariness. He'll use waiting. He'll use the opinions of people who never saw your process. But you must remain anchored. Remember what I've revealed to you in the secret place. Hold fast to what I spoke when no one else was watching. Guard the vision. End to it like a flame. Protect it from the winds of doubt, from the coldness of delay, from the temptation to settle for less than what I've declared. This is not the time to coast. This is the moment to advance. And though the war is more cunning now, you've been equipped with more than just survival instinct. You've been given kingdom strategy. Don't lose it in comfort. The real war is for your purpose. And it begins now. Now hear me clearly, child. This is the truth you must hold tightly to. The resistance rising around you is not a sign of your weakness, but a confirmation of your elevation. You're stepping into a realm of favor, and with it comes friction. You didn't draw this new level of opposition because of error. You're not being attacked because you made a wrong move. It's quite the opposite. You obeyed me when it was costly. You kept moving when others gave up. And now your obedience has triggered exposure. The very forces that once overlooked you are now threatened by you. There are eyes on you that never cared before. There are mouths speaking against you that never even noticed your name until now. And it's not because they understand your purpose. It's because they can feel your influence shifting the atmosphere. You see, darkness can detect when a child of mine has passed through fire and come out sharper. The enemy doesn't wait until you're famous to begin the attack. He strikes the moment he senses you're dangerous. And you become dangerous. Not because of worldly power, but because of your alignment with my will. You move differently now. Your steps are ordered. Your silence speaks. Your presence unsettles what's been hidden. And because of this, opposition is inevitable. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about what you carry. The truth you speak without fear. The light that cannot be dimmed no matter how many shadows surround you. Enemies will arise, sometimes from places you thought were safe. People you once walked with may begin to criticize what I've built in you. Some will mock, others will try to imitate without understanding the cost you paid. But do not be discouraged. Resistance is not a sign of misdirection. It is the echo of progress. You are being noticed in places where your voice hasn't even reached yet. And the jealousy, the accusations, the sudden shift in behavior from people around you, it all stems from one reality. They see what I placed on you. They may not say it, but they feel it. The tension in the room when you walk in. The discomfort in their posture when you speak with clarity. The subtle avoidance when you start speaking about purpose and calling. They feel it because spiritual authority cannot be hidden. And now that you've crossed the threshold of your last test, I've made it visible. You're stepping into arenas where every move will be watched, where every decision will be studied. But don't shrink to make others comfortable. Do not apologize for the oil. Do not dilute what cost you so much to carry. Instead, walk with wisdom. I will give you the discernment to know what to say and when to say it. I will reveal who can be trusted and who simply wants to attach themselves to your fruit without ever having sown into your soil. I will teach your hands to build while your eyes remain open in vigilance. Because success in me doesn't come with applause, it comes with responsibility. And responsibility always attracts resistance. But I am with you. And I am greater than any voice that rises in envy, greater than any plot that forms in secrecy. So do not fear their noise. Keep walking in truth. Because if their weapons form, they will not prosper. They will only prove that what I spoke over you is being fulfilled in plain sight. You're not under attack because you're losing. You're under pressure because you've already won battles they didn't know you were fighting. And now, they're realizing you're not backing down. You're rising up. Keep going, my warrior. The opposition is proof you're stepping into what they said you'd never become. My child, let me uncover what few ever see. Your quiet persistence has made the kingdom of darkness tremble. You didn't just endure. You resisted everything hell threw your way. And do you know what that means? You've become a problem in the enemy's territory. The fact that you still lifted your hands to me when everything collapsed around you wasn't just a moment of faith. It was an act of war. Every time you chose to trust me in the dark, you dismantled the lies hell was counting on. Every time you refused to curse me, when pain screamed louder than promises, you shattered demonic assignments meant to keep you bound. You were supposed to be silenced by fear, paralyzed by betrayal, drowned by shame, but you didn't retreat. You rose, even if you had to crawl through the tears. You rose. And because you rose, warfare is intensifying, not because you're weak, but because you're winning in a realm others cannot see. What terrifies the enemy is not your shouting, it's your surrender. He counted on your collapse. He predicted your silence. He expected your faith to disintegrate when things didn't go your way. But when you kept showing up, when you stayed in the Word, when you whispered my name through your broken breath, that's when everything shifted. That's when chains started breaking in places you haven't even stepped into yet. Now the alarms in hell are blaring. Demons that were assigned to delay you are now panicking because the timeline they counted on has expired. You're moving forward faster than they anticipated. You're unlocking generational restoration, untying spiritual knots that were tied long before you were born, and speaking freedom into places where silence once reigned. But listen carefully. The real battle starts now, not because you're vulnerable, but because you're empowered. The enemy no longer sees you as a risk. He sees you as a threat. And a threat is always met with resistance. Do not be surprised when spiritual agitation increases. Do not panic when opposition feels more personal. You've crossed into territory where your mere presence is disruptive. That's why old temptations are resurfacing. That's why old wounds are being poked. It's all a desperate attempt to distract you before you build what I've placed in your hands. The devil has no authority to destroy your purpose, so he'll do everything he can to make you abandon it. He'll attempt to deceive you into believing that the fire is punishment, that the warfare is a sign you missed my will. But remember what I'm telling you now. Resistance is confirmation, not condemnation. You're not cursed, you're consecrated. You're not losing ground, you're reclaiming it. You're not under attack because you're weak. You're under assault because you're armed. What you carry threatens realms you haven't even entered yet. The demons that once laughed at you now tremble when you speak. They recognize your voice not because of volume, but because of weight. I've placed a spiritual signature on your life that cannot be erased by man, silenced by critics, or nullified by past mistakes. But you must be alert. You must walk as one who knows the cost of the mantle they carry. You must speak with precision, not pride. Move with discipline, not distraction. Or not for attention, but for alignment. Because I'm not just calling you to survive the next battle, I'm equipping you to take territory that has been locked for generations. This is the moment where you stop retreating and start reclaiming. This is the hour where you stop questioning your authority and start walking in it. The real battle starts now, but you're not fighting alone. I've gone before you. I've covered behind you. And I stand beside you. Stand firm, my warrior. The next move will make hell regret ever touching you. You must be prepared for what's about to unfold, because the time of hidden refining has ended. And now comes the moment of visible testing. You didn't ask for a stage, but your obedience brought one. You didn't chase the spotlight, but your endurance attracted attention. And now, everything that was shaped in silence, the character, the discipline, the resilience, the depth, will be tested where eyes are watching, where reactions are magnified, and where silence speaks louder than words. Don't be alarmed when situations arise that seem strangely familiar. Accept now the stakes feel higher and the consequences feel heavier. It's not a regression. It's exposure. I am allowing what was once internal to be confronted externally, not to shame you, but to prove the strength I've built within you. You see, your integrity was forged behind closed doors. Your faith was grown in moments no one applauded. Your devotion was measured in the places where you had every reason to walk away but chose to stay. And because you stayed faithful in the shadows, I am bringing that faithfulness into the light, but it won't be applause that meets you first. It will be resistance. There will be people who test your patience, systems that provoke your values, and scenarios that pull at your self-control. But this is not the enemy's doing. This is my divine orchestration. Because the victory that matters most is not the one shouted in celebration, but the one lived out consistently under pressure. And now, I am positioning you in arenas that demand what you've cultivated privately. This is why I had to isolate you. This is why I closed doors before you were ready. Because if you had stepped into this space unprepared, the weight would have crushed you. But now you carry substance. You've been anchored. You don't need to defend your growth with your mouth. Your fruit will speak for you. Yet you must know this: with elevation comes exposure. Every response is now a message. Every step is now a statement. Not because I want you to perform, but because you are now a vessel through which my presence will move visibly. And when I move publicly, the pressure around you intensifies. You'll notice strange misunderstandings, sudden rumors, misquoted intentions. Don't chase every opinion. Don't waste strength proving yourself to those determined not to understand. What I am doing through you is not for everyone to comprehend. It is for me to complete. Your assignment has entered a realm where it demands maturity over emotion, clarity over comfort, and obedience over reaction. The enemy will try to provoke you into battles that are beneath your calling. Don't take the bait. You don't need to fight every critic. You don't need to win every argument. You need to stay in alignment, because where I'm placing you, peace will be your proof, and consistency will be your covering. Every time you remain steady, you send a message louder than any shout, that I, the Lord your God, have fortified you beyond natural understanding. You overcame in secret, but now you will overcome in sight. The testing isn't to punish you. It's to show that what was planted in the dirt has now taken root, and the winds that come will only prove how deeply you are anchored in me. Don't run from the stage. Don't fear the audience. They didn't place you there, and they can't remove you from it. I did this. I appointed this moment, and I will complete what I've begun. So stand with your head lifted, not in pride, but in posture, ready, focused, discerning. Because everything that was once private will now bear fruit in public. This is the next step. Walk in it with boldness. My beloved, the moment your spirit advanced, the atmosphere around you began to shift. Not because you announced it, not because you changed your surroundings, but because you changed your position in the unseen. When you passed through the fire and stayed connected to my voice, a new realm of authority was unlocked over your life. And with that authority comes attention, both from heaven and from darkness. You may not feel different outwardly, but the weight of what you now carry in the spirit has been detected. You've ascended into a greater assignment, and with that ascension comes greater opposition. The battle you face now isn't what it used to be. It's deeper, quieter, sharper. It doesn't always come as chaos. Sometimes it disguises itself as opportunity. Sometimes the warfare isn't loud. It's strategic, subtle, psychological. The enemy knows he can't touch what I've sealed, so he'll aim for your focus. He'll go after your rhythm. He'll try to invade your rest, your clarity, your posture, because he knows distraction is the most efficient weapon against those who are newly positioned. But listen to me, what's coming against you cannot overpower what's working through you. The promotion you've received is not a title, it's an empowerment. You have been authorized to walk into strongholds and dismantle cycles, to speak truth that breaks atmospheres, to carry peace that overrides confusion. And the enemy's response to this is not random. It's recognition. He knows you now carry weapons that are not of this world, and his attacks will escalate because your impact will multiply. You'll start to feel resistance where there was ease, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your presence has become a threat. Doors you walk through now will not just open for you. They will shake what's been hidden behind them. That's why some relationships will suddenly shift. Why some places will feel unfamiliar even though nothing has visibly changed. Because the weight you now bear has recalibrated the way heaven and hell interact with you. You are no longer in the crowd. You are on assignment. You are no longer waiting for the move. You are carrying it. But with this mantle comes responsibility. You must be precise with your words, strategic with your time, intentional with your steps. The casual distractions that used to entertain you now come with consequences. The procrastination you once tolerated now becomes a liability. You cannot afford to mismanage this hour, because every decision you make echoes further than you can see. And I know, this pressure feels unfamiliar. The silence feels heavier. The attacks seem sharper. But that's not because you're unprotected. It's because you've been entrusted. You're not being punished. You're being empowered. And empowerment comes with exposure. I'm not covering you the same way anymore, because I've built something in you that doesn't need to hide. Your identity is now a weapon. Your story is now a testimony. And every place you step into will either respond in alignment or agitation. But don't retreat. Don't second guess. I promoted you because I prepared you. The rooms I place you in now will be waiting for what only your voice can release. The lives I send to you will carry burdens that only your obedience can help lift. And yes, the warfare will feel more personal. But that's because your purpose is more powerful than it's ever been. You are not on the defense. You are on the front lines. And I go before you. So walk knowing that heaven is backing your every step. The warfare is intense because the assignment is divine. You've stepped into a new level, and now, you must walk like one who has been given the authority to shift nations, break chains, and usher in my presence where it's been missing for far too long. This is not just warfare. This is the evidence of your assignment being realized. Stay the course. The battle has changed, but so have you. Don't be misled by the peace you feel right now. It's not the finish line. It's the pause before the next deployment. What you're experiencing isn't the celebration of completion. It's the calm before another storm designed not to break you, but to build you further. I am not just here to comfort you for making it through. I am here to ready you for where I'm taking you next. I know your strength is tired. I know your heart wants rest. But listen closely. The most dangerous moment for a warrior is not during the battle, but immediately after a victory. That's when the enemy lurks in the shadows, waiting for you to relax, to let your guard down, to believe that the hardest part is over. And that's why I must speak now, urgently, clearly, directly. You can't afford to be unaware. You just crossed a threshold. And thresholds are thin places, where heaven touches earth and spiritual warfare intensifies. The moment your capacity expanded, so did your calling, and that expansion has marked you in both realms. I'm not just congratulating you for your faithfulness. I'm issuing instructions that are critical to your survival and what comes next. Stay alert, not paranoid, not fearful, but spiritually awake. There will be movements around you that seem innocent but are laced with subtle interference. Conversations that feel harmless yet carry seeds of confusion. Invitations that look like elevation but are poisoned with compromise. Your discernment must be sharper than it's ever been. I am sharpening your spirit, because precision is no longer optional. It's vital. Where I'm sending you next, hesitation will cost more than comfort. You'll need to act without overthinking, to move without needing consensus, to obey when it doesn't make sense in the natural. This is preparation, not punishment. This is refinement, not rejection. I'm teaching you how to stand still when the world demands movement, how to speak softly when the world expects noise, how to advance in silence while carrying power that shakes atmospheres. I'm raising you into a level of influence that cannot be sustained by emotion or charisma. It must be rooted in discipline, in awareness, in unwavering obedience. This is why I've been pruning your circle, separating you from voices that fed your insecurity and tying you closer to the sound of mine. You can't afford to lean on opinion in this season. You must walk in revelation. You must know what I said, and you must cling to it, even when others offer alternative routes that seem easier. Stay alert to the subtle drift, when what is holy becomes common, when what is sacred becomes routine. That's how purpose gets diluted. And I didn't bring you through fire to let you return to familiar patterns. The next steps will require a stillness that's anchored, a focus that's unshakable. You won't be able to follow the crowd anymore. You've outgrown the shallow places. I'm taking you into depths where only those trained in silence can survive. So yes, rejoice for the victory, but don't unpack here. You are in transition. You are being prepared for territory that demands everything you've learned and more. The battle is shifting, but so are you. And I will walk with you into rooms that feel too big, into conversations that seem beyond your reach, because I want to show you that you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to lead with my voice guiding you. But it starts with alertness. Not physical strength, not popularity, just awareness. Awareness of my presence. Awareness of what I'm saying. Awareness of the traps laid ahead. And if you stay awake, not just in action but in spirit, you will walk into the next move of God with such clarity that even chaos will bow at your steps. Stay ready. I'm not done. I'm just beginning through you. You need to understand this now. The battle is shifting. The adversary didn't succeed in breaking you, so he's recalibrating his strategy to prevent you from walking fully in what I've called you to accomplish. He knows he can't erase what you've overcome. He can't undo your testimony. So now he aims at what comes next. He's not targeting your past anymore. He's coming for your next steps, your focus, your momentum. He'll try to convince you to hesitate, to second guess, to delay the very things I've placed inside you. Because your mission, child, is not small. What I've entrusted to you carries power to disrupt darkness, to shift generational patterns, to awaken dormant gifts in others, and to draw wandering hearts back to me. Your calling was never about comfort, it was about change. And that's what he fears most, not your prayers alone, but the movement your obedience is about to initiate. The enemy doesn't launch full attacks against empty vessels. The pressure you feel right now isn't punishment. It's proof that what's in you is valuable, dangerous, and spiritually potent. That's why the distractions have multiplied. That's why the sudden fatigue hits you when you're ready to take action. That's why doubts you thought were buried start whispering again when you're finally moving forward. He can't stop the fact that you passed the test, but he'll do everything possible to keep you from stepping into deployment. You're on the edge of impact, and he knows it. He's not trying to destroy your history. He's terrified of your future. So be wise. His interference won't always look evil. Sometimes it comes dressed as opportunities that look appealing but aren't aligned. Sometimes it comes as flattery to pull your attention, or false urgency to redirect your priorities. But I've trained you to recognize the difference. You don't need to rush to respond to everything. You need to remain planted in what I've already spoken. Let me be the voice that guides your calendar, your relationships, your goals. Don't step into anything unless I breathe on it. You're entering territory where wasted time becomes a weapon, where delay can disrupt what I'm orchestrating through you. That's why the enemy will try to scatter your attention. He wants your energy exhausted on battles that are not yours, on assignments I never gave you. He'll make noise to keep you from listening. He'll stir up emotional conflict to drain your spiritual clarity. But hear me, nothing has changed in my plan. Nothing he does can rewrite what I've declared. But you must stay in step. Because if the enemy can't defeat you, he'll try to distract you. And if you're distracted long enough, your mission loses momentum. That's what he's after. Not your emotions, your effectiveness. And you cannot allow that. I gave you insight for a reason. I matured you in the fire so you would know the sound of my voice when counterfeit directions try to pull you off track. Your influence is not in the future. It starts now. Every conversation, every step, every yes to me is moving things in the spirit. You may not see it yet, but hell does. That's why things feel heavier. That's why the atmosphere suddenly feels tense. Because you're not just a believer, you're a carrier. You're carrying something that cannot afford to be dropped. So when interference rises, don't retreat, refocus. Don't let anxiety decide for you. Let my peace lead you like a compass. The test is behind you, but the assignment is in motion. And I am walking with you into every unknown space, not to prove you, but to fulfill what I've promised through you. Let me lead. Let me speak. And move when I say move, because your mission is unfolding, and it cannot be stopped unless you give your permission. Don't let the enemy trick you into forfeiting what I died to place in your hands. I need you to understand something difficult, but necessary. When I elevate your spirit, I often have to separate your surroundings. This shift you're experiencing is not just about power or clarity, it's also about pruning. You notice the silence, the awkwardness, the changes in tone from people you thought would celebrate this next chapter with you. Some won't answer your calls anymore. Others will pretend they're too busy. Some may even begin to speak subtly against what I'm doing in your life. And I want to tell you this plainly. It's not because you changed in the wrong direction. It's because you changed in the right one. The presence of my hand on your life unsettles those who were comfortable with your old limitations. Not everyone in your past was invested in your progress. Some were content with you staying in survival mode because it made them feel secure in comparison. But now that you've stepped into transformation, their comfort is disrupted. Your growth highlights their stagnation. And instead of leaning in, many will pull away. Do not chase them. Do not beg for understanding where there is spiritual resistance. I'm allowing this distance. I'm using this discomfort to reveal what couldn't be seen before, the motives, the envy, the quiet competition disguised as friendship. You don't need to grieve what I'm removing. This isn't rejection, it's redirection. I'm clearing the path for what must come next. Some connections were seasonal, meant to walk with you only to a certain point. Others were conditional, only staying as long as you fit their version of who you used to be. But now I've broken that mold. You no longer carry the same fragrance. You no longer tolerate what once drained you. And because of that, the air around you is shifting. But don't panic. Don't let their silence shake your stability. Don't interpret their absence as a sign you did something wrong. This is what happens when I elevate someone. I test their vision by adjusting their circle. I test their loyalty to me by allowing some doors to close that their heart wanted to keep open. I want you to see this for what it is, divine preservation. If I allowed them to stay, they would dilute your focus. They would question what I've confirmed. They would plant seeds of doubt where I'm trying to grow boldness. So I'm creating space. It may feel lonely, but it's not punishment. It's preparation. I am drawing the right people to you, not those who merely tolerate your presence, but those who recognize your anointing. People who are not intimidated by your authority, but who honor it. Voices who won't compete with you, but will intercede for you. But to make room for them, I have to remove what no longer serves your assignment. Trust me with this process. You don't need to explain yourself to those who refuse to see. You don't have to defend what I'm doing. Keep your heart soft but your boundaries firm. Continue to love, but love without compromising your direction. There will come a time when some of them realize what I was doing in you. But by then, you'll already be walking in rooms they weren't ready to go into. You'll be stewarding responsibilities that require full focus, not emotional confusion. This season will teach you the discipline of letting go without bitterness, of releasing with grace, and of moving forward, even when it's not applauded. I am your stability. I am your consistency. When people pull away, draw closer to me. When you feel misunderstood, let me remind you who you are. Because what's ahead requires your full capacity, not divided by drama, not weakened by guilt. Let me be your guide, even in this silence. I'm not just preparing the path. I'm protecting you from what cannot follow you into where you're about to go. As the fire in you grows stronger, as my presence rests heavier upon your life, a new level of spiritual exposure will begin. You'll no longer have to wonder who is truly for you. Your anointing will reveal it. Because when I increase the intensity of the light in someone, it doesn't just illuminate their path forward, it also exposes the motives of those walking beside them. This is what's beginning to happen now. The same light that guided you through darkness is now shining into the hearts of those around you, and you'll begin to see things that were once hidden by shared experiences, common pain, or surface loyalty. Don't be surprised when smiles no longer match their spirit. Don't be caught off guard when support becomes silent or when praise turns into distance. It's not always malice. Sometimes it's discomfort. When you grow, you disrupt the atmosphere of those who are trying to stay the same. When you carry clarity, it irritates those who are content with confusion. You were never meant to dim what I placed inside you just to maintain the illusion of peace. This is the season where authenticity matters more than familiarity. And I will allow situations that draw out what's been buried beneath politeness and appearances. You'll begin to hear conversations that make you pause. You'll feel shifts in how people treat you when you speak with authority instead of insecurity. That's not a coincidence. That's me drawing the line between connection and assignment. You're not called to carry everyone forward. Some people attach themselves to your potential, but not your purpose. They like the version of you that needed validation, but not the one that walks in conviction. And now that I'm bringing you into boldness, their alignment is being tested. But don't grieve the truth, welcome it. Because clarity in relationships is a gift, even when it hurts. I would rather you walk with 3 who are pure than be surrounded by 30 who are unsure. This light I've placed on you isn't just for direction, it's for distinction. It separates the authentic from the artificial. It draws the humble closer and causes the prideful to distance themselves. And in this separation, I will protect your heart from betrayal by revealing character before it has a chance to wound you. You'll notice how some will shift the moment you stop shrieking. You'll see how others withdraw when you no longer need their approval to move. That's your confirmation, not rejection. It's revelation. I'm showing you what you couldn't see before, because you needed to be strengthened before you could handle it. Now you're ready. Ready to walk in truth without the need to convince. Ready to stand tall without apologizing for what I've birthed in you. Ready to pursue what's next, even if it means walking away from what's familiar. And as you do, I will surround you with those who see your heart, not just your gift. Those who are drawn to your fire, not threatened by it. Those who want to build with you, not compete against you. But first, the light must reveal. And when it does, don't panic. Don't react. Just pay attention. Let me show you. Let me refine your environment. Because where I'm sending you, loyalty matters. Purity matters. Alignment matters. You can't take contaminated influence into clean territory. So walk with discernment. Not everyone who claps is committed. Not everyone who listens is loyal. But I am. I've never wavered. I've never looked away. And in every unveiling moment, I will be your anchor, your shield, and your whisper of peace. Let the light keep shining. It's doing more than guiding you. It's guarding you. Prepare your heart for this, my child. Not everyone will understand what I've placed upon you, and many will question why you're being elevated. They'll whisper assumptions, form opinions, and cast doubt over your breakthrough because they didn't witness the agony that brought you here. They only see the outcome, not the nights you cried out for strength. They see your present but never walked through your past. They weren't in the silent rooms where you battled fear with nothing but my promises. They didn't feel the weight of disappointment you carried quietly, or see the moments when quitting seemed easier than believing. And because they missed your wilderness, they will comprehend your harvest. But don't let their confusion corrupt your clarity. I saw it all, every lonely decision, every unseen sacrifice, every yes that cost you deeply. That's why this blessing is not random, it's righteous. It's not based on popularity, but on perseverance. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't manipulate your way to the top. You stayed when you could have run, served when no one clapped, gave when you had little, and believed when nothing made sense. That's why I'm opening doors now. Not because you were loud, but because you were loyal. And yes, that kind of promotion stirs discomfort. People will search for explanations to satisfy their assumptions, but they won't find them, because what I've done in you was between you and me. It was in secret places, in crushing moments, in the fire where no one volunteered to stand beside you. So when the blessing shows up, when the visibility increases, when the opportunities multiply, remember this: your reward is tied to your endurance, not their understanding. Don't waste time trying to prove yourself to those who weren't meant to walk the entire journey with you. Your responsibility is not to make them comfortable, it's to remain faithful. Let me handle the commentary. Let me speak on your behalf through the fruit of your obedience. You don't have to argue with jealousy or defend divine favor. Keep your eyes on me. I will cause your harvest to speak louder than their speculation. I know it hurts to be misunderstood. I know it's hard when your heart just wants to be seen for what it truly carried. But part of this next level is learning to walk past opinion without letting it wound your identity. They questioned me, too. They looked at the miracles and said it was sorcery. They heard wisdom and called it rebellion. You're not the first to be doubted when destiny starts to unfold. But I didn't stop moving, and neither should you. This isn't the time to retreat because of their confusion. This is the time to press forward because of my confirmation. You don't need applause. You need alignment. You don't need their approval. You need my anointing. And I've already given it. So when their questions get louder, let your focus grow deeper. When they scoff at the blessing, let it remind you that they never saw the battle. And that's okay, because I did. I saw everything. And I'm still watching. I'm still guiding. I'm still enlarging your territory. Let the fruit speak. Let your peace speak. Let your joy speak. There's no need to explain favor that was forged through fire. Just keep walking, and I'll keep confirming. Let them wonder, while you walk in wonders. Listen closely. This next phase requires clarity, not just in vision, but in relationships. You're carrying too much now to entertain attachments that are not aligned with where I'm taking you. This is the part of your journey where I begin to unveil the intentions of those around you. Not to hurt you, but to protect what's holy. There are connections that serve their purpose in your past but cannot walk with you into your purpose. And because you've passed the test, because your heart remained pure even when the pain was heavy, I am stepping in to purify the environment surrounding you. You may begin to notice sudden shifts in people's behavior. Don't panic. It's not your imagination. You're seeing clearly now because the fog of emotional dependency is lifting. I am causing what was hidden in hearts to come to the surface, because what you carry must not be compromised by divided loyalties. In this season, silence will be louder than speech. You'll discern more in absence than you did in presence. You'll start to feel an unease around those who were once comforting, because your spirit no longer agrees with what they represent. I'm not doing this to isolate you. I'm doing it to insulate you. There is a level of clarity that only comes after pruning. And I'm cutting what's unhealthy, even if it once looked fruitful. Not every smile is sincere. Not every listener is loyal. And not everyone who started with you is assigned to finish with you. I need your agreement with this, because if you fight to keep what I'm removing, you'll delay what I'm releasing. This refining is necessary. I'm not only eliminating obvious distractions, I'm targeting the subtle ones. The conversations that steal your confidence. The advice that sounds wise but pulls you off course. The voices that keep you tied to an identity I already called you out of. These things may seem small, but they carry weight. And when you're walking with purpose, even a slight detour can cost momentum. So let me refine. Let me protect you from influence that flatters but secretly resents. From people who are close to your presence but far from your heart. From cycles disguised as comfort. This isn't rejection, it's realignment. I'm making your circle smaller so your impact can grow stronger. And yes, it may hurt at first. Letting go always does. But I will send replacements, voices who pray, not prey. People who cover, not compete. Allies who celebrate your calling, not just tolerate your growth. You won't have to force their support. It will flow from shared purpose. But for them to come, the wrong ones must be clear. So don't fear the silence. Don't mourn the departure. Don't chase what I've cut. What's leaving is making space for what's better. And what's being revealed is not betrayal, it's protection in disguise. I'm surrounding you with what you didn't know you needed. I'm building a team in the spirit before you see them in the natural. But until then, trust the separation. Trust that I know what your soul can carry, and I'm guarding your space accordingly. This refining isn't punishment, it's preparation for the doors that are about to open. You cannot afford to walk into destiny dragging dead weight. You cannot step into rooms of divine assignment with divided focus. So let me refine. Let me adjust the people, the pace, the patterns. Your circle is shifting, not because you're unloving, but because you're becoming unstoppable. Don't be startled when what once stood open is suddenly sealed. Don't fall into despair when opportunities vanish without explanation, or when what looked like the next step abruptly becomes inaccessible. I know your heart. I see the confusion brewing when things change faster than you can process. But this isn't sabotage. This is sovereignty. What you're experiencing is my direct intervention. When you prayed for my will, you also invited my hand to shut anything that wasn't built for where I'm leading you. You may not have known the danger behind those doors, but I did. You may have only seen the surface, the favor, the connections, the potential, but I saw the spirit behind it. I saw what would have drained your focus, tangled your progress, and wounded your momentum. And because I love you too much to let you settle, I'm closing what looks promising but isn't pure. It might feel sudden, but it's strategic. I don't operate according to human timelines or worldly logic. I operate with eternal purpose. And when I remove something quickly, it's because the longer you stayed attached to it, the more it would have cost your calling. I am severing ties that were pretending to serve you. I am cutting paths that were designed to slow you down. I am sealing exits that would have led you away from the blueprint I've written over your life. You might be tempted to go back, to knock again, to try and force your way in. But I'm asking you to trust me enough to walk away. If the door closed by my command, no Strihan can reopen it. And if you try to pry it open, you'll find nothing but exhaustion and delay. What you don't see is what I'm making room for. Sometimes I must remove the imitation to prepare you for the authentic. Sometimes I must disrupt your plans to rescue you from compromise. And sometimes I must bring an abrupt ending to avoid a slow destruction. You may grieve what's gone, but you'll thank me when what's coming arrives. I am not just the opener of doors. I am the one who guards their purpose. Every door I close is a redirection, not a rejection. Every denied access is divine protection. And every no from me is an invitation to a better yes. Let me handle what you don't understand. You don't need all the answers to keep moving. You just need to trust that I don't waste anything, not your time, not your tears, not your obedience. The closure you're experiencing now is part of the cleansing. You prayed for greater. You asked for clarity. And now I'm answering, not with more noise but with necessary silence. Do not misinterpret the stillness as abandonment. It's a holy pause. It's me preparing the ground ahead of you. I'm moving pieces you don't see. I'm aligning hearts, shifting atmospheres, and preparing timing that will make sense only once you reach it. So take a breath, child. Don't chase what I've closed. Don't plead for what I've removed. Lift your eyes and prepare for the next door, the one I've crafted with your name on it, the one no man can lock, the one that leads to everything I've been developing in you behind the scenes. This is not the end. This is the rerouting that ensures you don't settle beneath the weight of your anointing. So walk away in faith. Leave what no longer fits. Release what no longer breathes life. And know this: if my hand closed it, my purpose is still leading you forward. Nothing had been lost, only cleared. What's next is already opening. Just keep walking. What I've placed inside you now radiates differently, not in noise but in stillness. There's a calm about you that isn't explained by circumstance, a steadiness that doesn't come from external security but from internal surrender. That kind of peace, the peace that I give, is not passive. It's powerful. It's disruptive to environments built on confusion, manipulation, and unrest. And as it grows within you, it will begin to expose what others have used to maintain control. Some people you encounter have never learned how to function without drama. Their validation comes from being needed in crisis, their identity tied to turmoil. But here you are, walking in quiet authority, no longer reacting the way you once did, no longer answering every insult, no longer engaging every attack. And they won't know what to do with it. Don't be surprised when they start pushing your buttons, not because they want to reconnect, but because your refusal to engage the chaos threatens the false security they've built. Your stillness will offend their instability. Your refusal to panic will irritate what is unhealed in them. But I want you to remember, peace is not weakness. It's warfare. It disarms without shouting. It anchors without applause. And in this season, I've assigned peace to guard your mind like a weapon. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't have to explain what I'm doing in you. Just remain in the stillness I've taught you to carry. That stillness will speak louder than any defense. Your restraint will be more impactful than any rebuttal. Because what you're walking in now isn't just calm. It's a signal that you're rooted. Rooted in me. And roots cannot be pulled up by surface-level storms. That's what makes this different. You used to be easily pulled into conversations that drained your energy. You used to overthink every response, replay every word, try to fix every conflict. But now I've matured you. I've built endurance in you. I've given you the ability to pause, to discern, to walk away without bitterness and to keep your focus on what actually matters. And yes, that peace will frustrate those who are still addicted to noise. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you've grown cold. But you haven't. You've just grown up. You've learned that not every battle is worth entering, not every invitation deserves your presence, and not every voice carries authority over your assignment. That's what this peace represents, the fruit of knowing who you are in me. And it will repel what was never meant to attach to you. Let the silence remain when you don't respond. Let the tension settle when you don't take the bait. Let the misunderstanding happen if it means protecting what I've built in you. You are not responsible for managing other people's discomfort with your growth. You are responsible for stewarding the peace I've planted inside your spirit. And I promise you this: if you guard that peace, it will guide you. It will show you what conversations are worth having. It will lead you away from relationships that once felt like lifelines but now only drain. It will whisper when to speak and when to walk away. This peace is not seasonal. It's foundational. And it's one of the clearest signs that my spirit is reigning in you. So don't apologize for it. Don't shrink it. Don't trade it for temporary approval. Let others wrestle with their discomfort. You, my child, stay planted in what I've taught you. Let your peace be your posture. Let it be your protection. Let it be your power. Because in a world filled with chaos, the ones who carry my peace will shine like anchors in the storm. And that's exactly what you are now. Unshaken, unbothered, immovable. Not because life is perfect, but because I, your king, am ruling from within. Now that I've lifted you, the test is no longer just about endurance. It's about posture. The higher I take you, the more tempting it will be to seek validation from voices that once doubted you. The applause will increase, but so will the risk of depending on it. That's why I must remind you, your strength isn't in how high you climb, but in how deeply you stay rooted in me. Pride won't knock loudly at your door. It will arrive subtly, through compliments, through sudden access, through influence you never imagined. And if you aren't careful, you'll begin to feed off what was never meant to sustain you. You'll start interpreting human affirmation as spiritual direction, and that's where many lose their footing. I didn't raise you to become intoxicated with the attention of people. I elevated you so that my voice would be amplified through your obedience. Your power does not come from position. It flows from proximity, not to the crowd, but to me. Stay close. Stay low. Do not allow the platform to become your identity. The platform is the place where I reveal what I built in private, nothing more. If you start to perform for people instead of listening for my whisper, you'll drift. Not all at once, but slowly. You'll begin to do what pleases the crowd instead of what carries my breath. And eventually, the light you carry will be dimmed by self-reliance. I'm warning you now, not because you've failed, but because I trust you with much. This is a deeper test, and it can only be passed in silence. Will you still seek me when you're surrounded by praise? Will you still tremble before my presence when others tell you how great you are? Will you kneel before me in secret, even when people stand for you in public? These are the questions that guard elevation. And the answer must always be yes. Because if you stay low before me, I will continue to lift you higher than anything your effort could accomplish. I oppose the proud, but I lavish grace on the humble. I open doors for those who refuse to worship them. I favor those who remember that favor is not a trophy, but a responsibility. Let them clap. Let them praise. Let them call your name. But you must always return to the place where your name doesn't matter, and mine is everything. You must remain teachable, correctable, dependent. The moment you believe you've outgrown the need for my instruction is the moment your influence becomes fragile. And I didn't bring you this far to watch you fall to pride disguised as confidence. Stay broken. Stay available. Stay reverent. Let your tears still flow in my presence. Let your heart still soften at my word. Let your voice still shake when you speak on my behalf, not because you're afraid, but because you're aware of the weight it carries. I have not promoted you to entertain. I have not increased your reach so you can echo the world's empty noise. I've placed you where you are so my glory can shine through a surrendered vessel. Don't lose your posture. Your humility is your covering. It shields you from deception. It protects your discernment. It attracts my favor. So when influence comes, bow deeper. When doors open, listen longer. When your name is spoken, lift up mine higher. And I will continue to expand your territory, not because you chase it, but because you remain one who can be trusted with it. Stay low before me, and I will exalt you in ways that silence every lie. Love for your fame, love for my glory. Child, listen with spiritual ears now. The unease you've been sensing isn't accidental. The moments of heaviness, the subtle irritations, the mental clutter that arrives out of nowhere, these are not random emotional shifts. They are intentional tactics meant to shake your footing and interfere with what I'm setting up ahead. The enemy knows he cannot block what I have authorized, so he aims to fracture your stillness. He understands that when your peace is disturbed, your discernment wavers. And when you begin to react from pressure instead of resting in my presence, you lose clarity for the next step I'm unfolding. This is why attacks come disguised, not as war but as anxiety, not as storms but as whispers. It's the unspoken discouragement, the sudden exhaustion, the lingering doubt that tries to wear you down slowly. You must recognize this for what it is, a calculated distraction to shift your focus off my voice and into survival mode. Because when you're anxious, you hesitate. When you're unsettled, you second guess. And when your mind is overwhelmed, your spirit becomes quiet, not because I've stopped speaking, but because noise is louder than stillness. But now you know the strategy. And I'm calling you to guard your peace like treasure. It's not a luxury, it's a shield. Your peace is a map. It helps you know where I'm leading, and when I'm holding you still. That's why the enemy wants it. That's why you'll notice spiritual attacks increase the moment you decide to move forward. The closer you get to divine alignment, the more warfare will aim for your internal atmosphere. But hear me. I did not place peace in you just to make you feel better. I placed it in you as a weapon, to silence fear, to expose lies, and to guide your steps when the road ahead is unfamiliar. So now, you must protect it. Guard what you allow into your ears. Be wise with your conversations. Pay attention to what drains your spirit. Recognize who brings calm and who brings confusion. Some voices enter your life to plant worry disguised as concern. Others carry chaos cloaked in charm. And I'm giving you eyes to see the difference. This is a time to stay grounded. Stay rooted in my word. Stay disciplined in your focus. When pressure rises, don't rush, pause. When confusion knocks, don't answer. Listen for me. I will never lead you through fear. I guide through peace. Even in moments of urgency, my presence does not cause panic. I bring strategy, not stress. So when your peace is under fire, ask yourself, what is being threatened? What am I stepping into that hell is trying to interrupt? Often, the greatest battles rise right before the greatest breakthroughs. So don't interpret resistance as retreat. Let it confirm you're on the right path. You'll not abandon what I've instructed just because it suddenly feels uncomfortable. Press deeper. Declare my promises aloud. Saturate your space with worship, not worry. Return to the stillness we've built together. Because that stillness is where I reveal blueprints. That stillness is where I whisper directions. That stillness is where your next assignment becomes clear. You are not under attack because you're weak. You are under pressure because of what you're about to birth. Protect your peace. Let nothing steal it. It's the compass that will keep you aligned when the enemy throws distractions disguised as decisions. And as you hold it close, I will continue to make the crooked places straight. I will show you what matters and what doesn't. I will teach you how to move without reacting, how to speak without striving, and how to discern without fear. Let peace be your posture. Let it go ahead of you. And every time the enemy tries to unsettle you, remember, he only aims where heaven is preparing to move. Now that the distractions have been unmasked, the real war begins, and it's personal. Not a battle for your possessions or your relationships, but something far more sacred, your identity. This is the place where the enemy has always feared you would wake up, not just to your calling, but to who you truly are in me. Because once you see yourself through my eyes, lies lose their power. Once you understand that your value was sealed before you ever made a mistake, no shame can hold you. And that terrifies the darkness. The enemy's last weapon now is deception, to twist your perception of yourself, to whisper accusations wrapped in half-truths, to flood your thoughts with doubt about whether you're truly chosen, qualified, worthy, ready. He will point to your past and try to make it your present. He will remind you of your failures and call them your identity. But I need you to hear this clearly. You are not defined by your weakest moment. You are not labeled by your deepest wound. You are not shaped by human opinion. You are who I say you are, and the truth must anchor you now more than ever. You are redeemed, not because you feel it, but because I declared it. You are equipped, not because you have all the answers, but because I placed my spirit within you. You are loved, not for your performance but for your posture. The way you keep showing up, even when you're trembling. That's what qualifies you. That's what makes hell nervous. Because when you walk in your true identity, you stop reacting to every voice. You stop shrinking to be understood. You stop doubting every open door. You begin to move with the authority of someone who knows they belong. And belonging isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It means your spirit finally agrees with what heaven already confirmed. So expect the warfare to grow louder in your mind. Expect thoughts to rise that sound like your own voice, but are rooted in fear. Expect accusations to echo from the past, trying to pull you back into what I already delivered you from. That's the tactic, to get you to abandon your position through internal confusion. But I have already equipped you. I've given you the helmet of salvation to guard your thoughts. I've placed the belt of truth around your waist so you stay grounded. I've handed you the sword of the Spirit, my word, to silence every lie the enemy throws at your heart. Use it. Don't just memorize who you are. Declare it. Speak it over your life, over your mornings, over your decisions. When fear rises, respond with identity. When comparison creeps in, respond with truth. When you feel small in the face of new assignments, remember, your power is not in your personality, it's in your position as my child. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to be perfect to be effective. You just need to remember that you're mine. And nothing, no mistake, no failure, no delay, no lie, can cancel what I've spoken over your life. This is the hour to rise, fully aware of who you are and whose you are. Let me be your mirror, not your memories. Let my word define you, not your wounds. You are not an accident. You are not behind. You are not a mistake waiting to be fixed. You are a vessel waiting to be fully filled with the revelation that your identity is already sealed. And as long as you stay rooted in me, nothing can shake that truth. The warfare is real, but so is your authority. And identity is the key that unlocks your boldness. Hold it close, child. You're not who the world says you are. You're exactly who I created you to be, and that is more than enough. In the hours ahead, not everything that looks good will be from me. The enemy has shifted his approach. He's not coming with obvious darkness anymore. He's disguising falsehoods as wisdom, wrapping deception in language that sounds spiritual, and cloaking distractions as divine opportunities. This is why I'm calling you to sharpen your discernment like never before. You cannot rely on feelings in this hour. Emotions are real, but they are not always accurate. You must lean into my spirit, not your assumptions, not your instincts, not even your experience. What's ahead will require sensitivity beyond what your natural senses can grasp. The enemy has studied your patterns, and now he'll attempt to mislead you using familiarity. He'll send voices that echo things you've longed to hear, not to affirm you but to misdirect you. He will craft situations that feel right but pull you subtly off course. And if you're not anchored in discernment, you'll chase what soothes your emotions and miss what aligns with my spirit. This is not the time to make decisions out of excitement or fear. It's the time to pause and ask, is this you, Lord? It might look like an open door, but who's holding it? It might sound like confirmation, but what spirit is speaking? If the direction contradicts my word, it's not from me. If it elevates your comfort but erodes your convictions, it's not my will. The counterfeit is always closest to the real thing. That's what makes it dangerous. And the enemy doesn't need to stop you violently if he can deter you quietly. You must test every invitation, examine every voice, and sit with me before saying yes. I'm not rushing you. I'm refining you. I'm training you to distinguish my whisper from persuasive noise. Because this is a season where the wrong yes could cost time, energy, and momentum, and you don't have time to waste anymore. You've come too far. You've endured too much. And you've been entrusted with too many assignments for your ears to be loose with influence. I'm asking you to listen differently. Feelings can lie. Pressure can mislead, but my spirit always speaks truth. You won't always get a thunderous sign. Often it will be a nudge, a tension in your spirit, a pause in your peace. Don't ignore it. Don't override it because it doesn't match your expectations. I speak in stillness, not in chaos. I guide through clarity, not confusion. If something pulls you into mental unrest, don't push forward just because it feels urgent. Sometimes delay is my protection. Sometimes silence is my signal. Be okay with not knowing everything before moving. You don't need the full picture. You need the next right step, and I'll give it in my time. When you walk in discernment, you won't have to second guess. You'll move with confidence that doesn't depend on popular opinion. The world might not understand your pause. People may question your silence, but I will honor your obedience, and I will reveal what was hidden in due time. Remember, even the serpent in the garden used truth twisted just enough to cause destruction. The danger wasn't the lie, it was how much it resembled the truth. And in this hour, you must be rooted in my voice to recognize the difference. The closer you grow to me, the less susceptible you become to deception. So draw near. Ask me before you answer. Wait before you commit. Don't allow flattery to blind you, or urgency to pressure you. You don't need to say yes to everything that claps for you. You only need to say yes to what I've anointed. My child, discernment is not a gift for the future. It's a necessity for this very moment. Guard it. Develop it. Walk in it. And as you do, I'll expose what's false, confirm what's real, and lead you into what no deception can touch. There's a level I'm bringing you into that requires less conversation and more conviction. In this season, I will begin to reveal things to you that won't make sense to those around you. You'll feel a certainty in your spirit that can't be justified through logic, and that's by design, because what I'm doing in your life is not meant to be validated by the crowd. You've been trying to explain your obedience to people who were never given the same instructions. You've been exhausting your energy trying to defend divine directions to natural minds. But I need you to understand now, not everyone has access to the blueprint I've given you. And that's okay. Obedience doesn't always come with agreement from others. Sometimes it comes with silence. Sometimes it comes with opposition. But the clarity I'm giving you is not meant to be diluted in conversations that pull you away from purpose. It's time to let go of the need to be understood and grab hold of the grace to move in quiet confidence. You don't need a panel of approval to obey what I've whispered in your heart. If you keep pausing to explain, you'll keep delaying what I'm trying to accelerate. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone is supposed to understand why you let go of certain people, stepped out of certain places, or chose to stay hidden when others sought the spotlight. I'm speaking to you in ways that require faith, not feedback. And if you will stop needing consensus, I will pour out clarity like you've never known. Clarity not based on circumstances, but rooted in my presence. You'll know what to say and what to silence. You'll feel when it's time to move and when it's time to wait. I'm fine-tuning your inner compass so that you no longer chase confirmation from those who were never meant to guide you. You're not crazy. You're not being too cautious. You're hearing me, and that alone is enough. I've given you discernment, not just to sense danger, but to stay focused. Because every time you try to convince someone who's spiritually disconnected, you invite unnecessary confusion into a plan that was already clear. Let that go. Let their misunderstanding go. Let their silence go. I will surround you with people who don't need an explanation. They'll just recognize the anointing. They'll discern the weight of what you carry without demanding details. But first, I must wean you off the need to always explain. The path I have for you is narrow. It's not built for the approval of many. It's built for your surrender. So stay quiet when I tell you to. Move when I instruct you. Don't water down your vision just to fit into someone else's comfort zone. If they don't understand now, they will when the fruit comes. Let the results speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your peace be your answer. There's a freedom coming when you stop explaining and start walking in quiet power. You'll stop rehearsing speeches and start releasing destiny. You'll stop shrinking your fire just to avoid offending those who refuse to grow. This is your moment to embrace what I've told you, even if it isolates you, even if it changes your circle, even if it costs you the comfort of being accepted. I didn't call you to be light. I called you to be aligned. And alignment requires sacrifice, even the sacrifice of being misunderstood. But in return, I will give you insight that cuts through confusion. I will show you paths others can't see. I will whisper instructions that bypass natural understanding. And I will prove myself through the steps of your faith. So breathe. You don't owe everyone an answer. You don't need to explain what I'm doing in your life. Just keep following me. Clarity will be your companion, and the results will silence every question. You've entered a place where obedience is no longer about convenience. It's about sacrifice. I'm not calling you to do what's easy. I'm asking you to do what's necessary for what I'm releasing next. You've already seen what happens when you obey me in the small things: peace, breakthrough, alignment. But now, the instructions will stretch you. They will challenge your preferences. They will demand your full trust. Because the miracles that are coming aren't casual blessings. They are life-altering moves of heaven that will only manifest through radical surrender. I'm not just asking for your belief. I'm asking for your steps. And those steps may walk you away from what's familiar, what's predictable, what others applaud. You'll be asked to do things that make no sense in the natural. To give when it seems foolish. To stay silent when you want to speak. To move when you feel afraid. That's where the supernatural begins, where your obedience meets my power. I know it's not easy. I know the cost feels heavier now. But that cost is unlocking something that routine will never touch. You cannot expect extraordinary miracles while clinging to ordinary comfort. You cannot carry the next level while holding on to past habits. This is where the separation begins, not between you and others, but between you and limitation. I am refining your will to respond instantly, not after delay, not after debate, but with the kind of surrender that heaven recognizes and moves upon immediately. I am looking for those who obey without needing the full picture, who say yes before the outcome is certain. Because that kind of obedience opens doors that prayer alone cannot. That kind of obedience releases favor that waiting alone cannot. I'm not withholding from you. I'm waiting on your yes. Not just in theory, but in action. And when you move, child, I will move with you. The uncomfortable instruction you've been avoiding. That's where your next miracle is hidden. The call you've been postponing. That's the breakthrough waiting to burst open. Your obedience is the signal, not to impress me, but to activate what's already been prepared for you. But if you hesitate, if you negotiate with my instructions, you'll delay what I designed to happen now. So I need your full surrender. Even when it costs your comfort. Even when it invites criticism. Even when it breaks your routine. Especially then. Because it's in the breaking that I begin the multiplying. It's in the stretch that I release the supernatural. Remember Abraham, he left everything without knowing where he was going. Remember Peter. He stepped out of the boat in the middle of a storm. They didn't obey because it was safe. They obeyed because it was me. And that's the key. You don't need full understanding when you have full trust. If it's my voice, it's worth everything. And I promise you, you won't regret what you surrender. The temporary discomfort you feel in obedience is nothing compared to the eternal reward waiting on the other side. I'm not asking you to walk this alone. I will be with you at every step. But I will not walk for you. I will not obey for you. A choice belongs to you. And with every yes, heaven responds. Chains break. Doors open. Resources flow. Miracles unfold. Not because of striving, but because of obedience. So don't wait until it feels right. Don't delay until others agree. Move when I speak. Step when I lead. Even if it costs everything. because what I give in return will be far greater than what you leave behind. Obedience will stretch you, but it will also usher in the very things you've been praying for. Now is not the time to play it safe. Now is the time to trust me completely. You said you wanted to see miracles. Here is where they begin. You've reached the point in your journey where it can no longer be about what you receive, but about what you carry. I know you've prayed for provision, for favor, for open doors, and I've heard every cry. But now I need your focus to shift. This isn't about collecting gifts. It's about fulfilling a mission. It's not about being elevated for admiration. It's about being equipped for assignment. Blessings will come, yes, but they are no longer the reward. The true prize is your perseverance. What I'm after now is your staying power, your ability to remain faithful even when there's no visible reward. Because the weight of the calling on your life can't be sustained by moments of excitement or bursts of inspiration. It must be rooted in endurance, the kind that holds firm through seasons of silence, stretches of obscurity, and waves of resistance. You're no longer being trained to receive. You're being forged to carry. There's a deeper level of responsibility attached to this next season. You are becoming a vessel of influence, a bridge between heaven and broken places. And for that, you can't chase convenience anymore. You can't wait for ideal conditions or the comfort of consensus. You must anchor into what I've spoken and remain, even when it's difficult. Because this is where true maturity is formed, not in what excites you, but in what you refuse to abandon. The world will try to measure you by what you've gained, but I measure you by what you endure and still choose to believe. You've asked me to use you. You've said yes to my will. Now comes the proving, not as punishment, but as preparation. There will be days where you feel overlooked, seasons where it seems nothing is moving, and moments when your flesh wants to return to easier places. But I am asking you to hold, not just for yourself, but for those whose breakthrough is tied to your consistency. Your life is becoming a signal, and endurance is the sound that tells the world I am trustworthy. Don't chase the blessing anymore, chase the assignment. The provision is attached to the purpose, not the other way around. If you stay on course, the resources will meet you. The connections will align. The doors will open. But I need your pursuit to be me, not just what I can give. I'm developing something unshakable in you. A strength that doesn't crumble when applause fades. A faith that doesn't disappear when warfare rises. A fire that doesn't go out in the absence of recognition. This is the kind of character that legacy is built on. You weren't created just to be blessed. You were created to change atmospheres, to carry authority, to speak truth in dark places, to bear fruit that remains. That kind of life can't be rooted in shallow soil. It must be cultivated in the hidden place, in the long stretches of still waiting, in the quiet repetition of obedience without immediate reward. Don't despise this refining. This is where giants fall. This is where vision deepens. This is where destiny becomes undeniable. I'm not done blessing you, but I need your heart to move past needing it as proof. You have my approval already. You have my spirit. You have access to every resource in heaven. But I need your heart to say, even if nothing else comes, I will still follow. That is the posture that unlocks unstoppable power. Not the pursuit of ease, but the pursuit of obedience. This next chapter will be marked by endurance. And as you persist, heaven will respond with strength beyond your own. When others fall away, you will stand. When the storm rages, you'll remain. Because you're not rooted in the moment, you're rooted in my mission. And those who endure to the end, they don't just witness my glory, they carry it. You've asked, you've waited, and you've wept for what you once thought would never arrive. And now, I need you to see this clearly. Those cries from past seasons have not gone unnoticed. I was listening when you whispered in the dark. I heard every quiet plea, every word spoken with trembling faith. You've been walking through doors you once only dreamed of, standing in rooms you used to pray for. And now that those prayers are fulfilled, you must not get comfortable, because I am releasing new instructions. You're standing at a divine crossroads, where answered prayer becomes sacred responsibility. What you once needed has now been delivered, but with that delivery comes the next layer of my voice. Fresh directions that will not echo what you've already walked through, but will launch you into uncharted territory you were never ready for until now. This is where many miss it. They build monuments around old prayers and miss the movement of my spirit in the now. They camp where they were once desperate and miss where I'm trying to take them next. But not you. You must stay fluid, teachable, listening closely. The season has shifted. The manna you once lived on will not fall the same way again, because I am no longer teaching you survival. I am teaching you stewardship. I am no longer feeding your desperation. I am training your authority. That is why my voice may sound different now, not because I've changed, but because you've grown. You no longer need milk. I am giving you meat. You no longer need to be carried. I am equipping you to carry others. You prayed for peace, and I gave it. Now I am calling you to release that same peace into chaos. You prayed for direction, and I made the way clear. Now I am giving you people who need your guidance. You prayed for healing, and I restored you. Now you will speak healing into places still broken. Every answered prayer was not just for you. It was preparation for those I've assigned to your voice. But for that assignment to unfold, you must make space for fresh instruction. Don't live off the last word. Don't replay the old strategy expecting it to unlock new doors. I'm not repeating myself. I'm expanding your reach. What worked before won't be enough now. What sustained you then was for that terrain. But the land you're entering now requires fresh tools, deeper trust, and quicker obedience. And that's what this moment is about. Will you recognize when I shift? Will you discern when I speak again? Will you let go of what was, even if it worked, to receive what is now being whispered? I am not a stagnant God. I'm always speaking, always building, always moving forward. And those who follow me closely must move with me, even when the way forward seems unfamiliar. That unfamiliarity is proof that you are no longer walking in circles. You are walking in promise. But promise always comes with instruction. It comes with assignments that stretch, instructions that stretch, obedience that costs. And if you're willing to receive the next word, you'll see miracles that don't just bless, they build legacy. Let me recalibrate your focus. I'm not asking you to forget the miracles I've done. I'm asking you to let them become foundations, not finish lines. I'm asking you to look up again, to open your hands again, to wake up with expectation again, not for the same thing, but for a greater thing. Because I am not finished, and neither are you. The answered prayers you're walking in are the beginning, not the conclusion. Let me write the next chapter. Let me speak the new instruction. And when I do, respond, not like someone still waiting, but like someone already trusted. Because you are. You've proven faithful in waiting. Now be faithful in moving. What I am releasing now requires more than faith, it requires alignment. You've been praying for divine assistance, for supernatural help, for acceleration beyond your own ability. And I have responded. Even now, I have dispatched angelic forces to move on your behalf. They are not coming with comfort. They are coming with strategy. They are not here just to guard. They are coming to guide. But my help will not override your choices. My power is not released where you are out of position. If you drift from where I planted you, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, you will miss the full impact of what I've set in motion. This is not punishment, it's precision. You must be in place when the instructions arrive. You must be available when the moment opens. Because what I'm doing next is a divine intersection, and it only manifests when your spirit is standing where my will is operating. Heaven has moved. Now earth must respond. You've prayed for breakthroughs, for protection, for signs, and I've answered through angelic deployment. They are not only watching over you, they are preparing atmospheres, softening hearts, breaking barriers you can't even see. They are disrupting demonic interference and establishing the framework for your next season. But it is your consistency that grants them permission to act without interruption. When you step out of place, through disobedience, through offense, through distraction, you compromise the spiritual environment that's meant to carry you forward. That's why I'm calling you to stand still in my presence and stand firm in your assignment. No more spiritual drifting. No more half-hearted engagement. This is the time to be deeply planted, in prayer, in the Word, in humility, and in focus. Don't underestimate the power of staying where I told you to stay. Don't look around at others and start questioning your position. You are not late. You are not missing out. The activity you don't yet see is already happening. I am working in rooms your feet haven't entered yet. I'm shifting dynamics behind closed doors, turning decisions in your favor, reordering systems that once denied you. Angels are on assignment, but your alignment determines the outcome. You must continue to walk in integrity. You must keep your posture clean, even when you feel unseen, even when you feel forgotten, even when your surroundings say nothing is changing, because spiritually, everything is. And yes, the enemy will try to pull you out of position. He'll whisper that it's too slow, that you need to make something happen in your own strength, that your waiting is foolish. But that's not waiting, that's warfare. Every moment you remain in place despite the temptation to run is a declaration of trust. And that trust releases heavenly activity at a level that your human effort never could. You may feel like nothing's happening, but in the unseen realm, angels are moving at my word. They are preparing deliverance. They are opening doors. They are holding back what would have overtaken you had you stepped out too soon. So don't move unless I move. Don't speak unless I give you utterance. Don't compromise your values just to see progress. I can do more in 1 moment of obedience than you could in 10 years of striving. The real power is not in the motion. It's in the position. Be where I told you to be. Stay sensitive to my presence. Keep your posture pure. Your role is not to force the breakthrough. It's to remain in agreement with heaven. My help is already on the way. It's already near. But it will land where you are planted in faith, not wandering in fear. You've been seen. You've been heard. You've been answered. Now hold the line. Because what I've sent cannot be intercepted, unless you step away from the place I've assigned you to. Stay grounded. Stay watchful. Stay expectant. The release is coming to where your spirit is ready to receive. I know what you're sensing. One day, it feels like the heavens are wide open. The next, it's as though you vanished from everyone's view. You wonder why the momentum slows, why the messages stop, why the support seems to withdraw without warning. You're tempted to think something's wrong, that you've missed a step or lost favor. But I need you to hear me now. This hiddenness is not a punishment. It's part of my plan. I am pulling you back from visibility, not to silence your voice, but to shield your purpose. Because not all visibility is favor, and not all exposure is progress. Sometimes I hide you because you're too valuable to be handled prematurely. There are eyes watching you who do not have your best interest in mind. There are platforms that would celebrate your gifting but devour your purity. So I've drawn you back, not to delay you, but to develop you deeper. This is a divine pause, a sacred covering. You are not being overlooked. You are being reserved. When I hide someone, it's because I am protecting the process. There is still refining happening in your heart. There are roots I'm extending that will hold the weight of the next elevation. And I will not allow that structure to rise publicly until I know it is unshakable privately. This is not a setback. This is sacred. Learn to honor the hidden place. It's where you grow without the pressure to perform. It's where your motives are purified. It's where your ears become more attuned to my whispers and less distracted by noise. I know you long to be seen. I know you want confirmation that you're on the right path. But don't let the silence deceive you. I'm still working. I've simply shifted the spotlight so you and I can work undisturbed. The deepest growth happens underground. The most potent anointing forms where no one is watching. And when it's time, I will reveal you again, not with noise, but with power. When I do, you'll no longer need to introduce yourself. The oil will speak. The fruit will confirm what I've done in you. But for now, trust the quiet. Don't strive to be seen. Don't panic when others pass you by. Let them rush ahead. I am pacing you for longevity, not popularity. I'm building legacy in your hands, not just moments of applause. And if I've taken you off the radar for a season, it's because I'm establishing something in you that can't be rushed. I have not forgotten you. Heaven knows your name. The earth will feel your impact, but it must be on my terms, in my timing, for my glory. If I reveal you too early, the very thing meant to be a platform could become a trap. So I hide you. I protect your vision from premature opinions. I shield your spirit from the weight of attention that you're not yet called to carry. This is a hidden season, but not a wasted one. So dig in. Build quietly. Worship deeply. Write what I say. Prepare behind the curtain. Your next revealing will not be a restart. It will be a release. But only when the time is ripe. And when that moment comes, you won't have to fight for the room. I'll open it. You won't have to strive for visibility. I'll announce you. And those who overlooked you will watch what I do through you, not to shame them, but to glorify me. Because when I reveal what I've hidden, no one will be able to deny the hand of the Lord. Until then, rest in the unseen. Let me continue to shape what you'll soon carry publicly. You're not forgotten. You're being formed. And the silence is proof that I'm still near, not absent. There are things you've wanted to walk through, places that looked perfect, paths that seemed promising, relationships that felt right, and I blocked them. Not because I wanted to withhold good from you, but because what you saw as advancement, I saw as entrapment. There are doors that glitter with potential but are laced with compromise. And in my love for you, I've pulled you back, concealed you from their view, and shielded you from stepping into what could have sabotaged your purpose. I know that, to your eyes, it looked like an open door. But I saw beyond the surface. I saw the spiritual entanglements, the manipulative intentions, the environments that would suffocate your discernment and seduce your time. So I concealed you. I hid you under my wing and allowed disappointment to feel like denial, when in reality, it was deliverance. This is not rejection. This is rescue. Some of the things you mourn were actually traps in disguise. I closed doors not because you weren't qualified, but because I love you too much to watch you walk into a place where your gift would be used but your soul would be lost. Some opportunities were nothing more than distractions dressed in timing. Some connections were not allies. They were agents of confusion. And though you didn't see it at first, I stepped in and quietly severed what you didn't know would destroy you later. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it felt unfair. But now, look again. Look at the peace I preserved. Look at the integrity I protected. Look at the path you're still standing on. Steady, whole, not broken by what could have been. Sometimes my protection doesn't come in the form of visible warfare. Sometimes it comes in the silence of being unseen. I make you invisible to places that would devour your spirit. I delay responses from people who would mishandle your heart. I prevent you from stepping into rooms that would celebrate your skill while slowly crushing your calling. And you must trust me with that kind of leadership. Because you asked me for purpose. You asked me for truth. You asked me to take you deeper. But deeper always means more pruning. It means fewer distractions, more discipline, and the courage to accept when I say, not that one. This is not the time to reopen what I've shut. It is not the season to knock again on the same doors just because your emotions are unsettled. I need you to trust that I see every layer, not just the surface appeal. If I'm hiding you, It's because exposure would be costly right now. There's more to develop, more to purify, more to sharpen. You are not being overlooked. You are being protected from premature alignment. You are being preserved from false promotion. You are being anchored deeper before being lifted higher. And when the right opportunity comes, you won't have to force it. It won't confuse your spirit. It won't drain your peace. It will meet you in alignment, not ambition. So release the need to be seen right now. Release the urgency to be chosen by what looks impressive. Let go of the fear that says you're behind. You're not missing anything. I'm orchestrating things you haven't even imagined. I'm working behind the scenes, not just to open doors, but to prepare you to walk through them with authority, not anxiety. You don't need to worry about the opportunities that passed. What is meant for you will not require striving. It will come with confirmation. It will come with clarity. And when I unveil it, you'll realize why everything else had to be hidden. Let me protect you. Let me hide you when necessary. Let me close doors that could have flattered you into captivity. I'm not just building your future, I'm guarding your soul. And sometimes that means saying no to what your heart wanted, so I can say yes to what your spirit truly needs. Stay tucked in. Stay surrendered. You're not being denied. You're being defended. What I'm asking you to step into next won't always make sense to the people around you. It won't be posted on platforms or applauded in public. In fact, some will question it. Some will distance themselves. Others will misunderstand your silence, your separation, your sudden change of direction. That's because the assignment I'm placing before you wasn't given to them. It was entrusted to you. This next part of your journey is not about popularity. It's about purity. It's about being faithful to my voice, even when that voice leads you away from the masses. I never promised that purpose would come with public support. I promised that my spirit would guide you into all truth, and now, I'm guiding you into something that demands full obedience, not external validation. You may be called to build in the dark, to walk in unfamiliar territory, to say yes to things that don't come with a crowd, a title, or immediate fruit. This is the path of the narrow way, the kind of path where the ground is often uncertain but my voice remains steady. You will hear me clearly, not because others agree, but because you've chosen to tune out the noise and center your spirit on me. I am stripping away the addiction to approval. I'm removing the need to be affirmed by the same voices have already moved you beyond. You are no longer in the realm where human applause equals direction. I'm moving you into a realm where obedience alone becomes your compass. And yes, it may feel lonely at times. Yes, the path may look empty. But that's only because few are willing to carry what you've said yes to. I didn't choose you to blend in. I chose you to break through. And breakthrough doesn't happen in places that are comfortable. It happens where courage rises without needing an audience. The instructions I'm about to give you won't come with a safety net. They'll come with power. They'll come with grace. They'll come with a weight that causes the atmosphere around you to shift. Not because you shouted, but because you obeyed in silence. You'll know it's me because the peace will outweigh the pressure. The confirmation will be internal before it ever becomes external. You won't have to make announcements. Your life will be the evidence. And those who once doubted your decisions will later bear witness to the fruit of your faith. But you must be willing to be set apart. You must be willing to say no when everyone else is saying yes. You must be willing to let me choose the stage, the pace, the place, and the time. Because I'm not preparing you to be celebrated, I'm preparing you to carry glory. And glory is weighty. It's sacred. It's not handed to the crowds. It's entrusted to those who can steward the silence, the obscurity, the process. I'm not calling you out to shame you. I'm calling you deeper to show you what only the surrendered can carry. Your purpose is not for popularity. It's for impact. And impact is rarely loud. It's felt. It's lasting. It echoes in generations long after the noise has faded. That's the kind of legacy I'm forming in you now. So don't shrink back when it feels like no one understands. Don't question the assignment just because it didn't come with applause. I approved you. I anointed you. I appointed you. And if I called you, I will complete what I've started, whether or not they ever approve it. Let me lead you through this valley of isolation. Let me show you that hidden obedience unlocks visible favor in ways you can't yet see. Let me affirm you in the quiet places, so that when the spotlight comes, your character will be strong enough to carry it without compromise. This part of your calling is not for show, it's for surrender. Walk with me into the places few go. I will meet you there. And when the fruit begins to bloom, you'll know it wasn't them, it was me. You keep asking why they change, why the ones who once stood close now seem silent, why the support you thought would always be there has faded. I need you to hear me now. This isn't a coincidence. This is me, carefully and intentionally removing attachments that were never meant to follow you into the next season. And I know it hurts. I know it feels personal. But I need you to stop trying to get reassurance from the very ones I am repositioning. When I start extracting people, it's because I see what's ahead. I see where their presence would interfere with your progress. I see the heart behind their encouragement, whether it's sincere or strategic. I see what you can't. It's natural to want to be affirmed, especially by those who once walked beside you. But your desire for their approval is pulling your gaze off me. I never told you to seek their permission. I never required their agreement to launch you into destiny. The truth is, some were only attached to your process, not your purpose. They were present while you were becoming, but they were never equipped to walk beside who you've now stepped into. They applauded the version of you that needed help. But elevation exposes misalignment. And once you began to rise, it revealed where hearts truly stood. Now I'm calling you to release the need for validation. Let go of the idea that peace will come when they finally understand. They may never see it. They may never apologize. They may twist the narrative to justify their exit. But you don't have time to sit in that confusion. You're carrying something too heavy to be weighed down by their absence. I'm shifting you from needing to be seen to learning to be seen. There's a difference. Being seen is about acceptance. Being sent is about authority. And those I send can no longer crave the attention of those who have already decided to walk away. This is a test of maturity. Can you continue to move forward without applause? Can you keep building with no one cheering you on? Can you still obey me when the ones you trusted turn away quietly? Because this is the path of those I anoint deeply. It's lonely before it's fruitful. It's misunderstood before it's multiplied. But every time you resist the urge to chase their approval, you pass the test of dependence. I'm teaching you that your worth doesn't increase because people stay, and it doesn't decrease because they leave. You are not less called, less favored, or less seen because someone changed their position. I haven't changed mine. I'm still right here, speaking, guiding, confirming, and moving. And while you may miss their voice, I am increasing the volume of mine. You no longer need validation. You need vision. You need clarity for the next instruction. You need focus for the next breakthrough. And those things only come when your eyes are fixed on me, not looking over your shoulder hoping someone who left will come back and affirm your direction. I didn't design this next season for you to be surrounded by comfort. I designed it for you to be covered by conviction. When I approve of your steps, no other opinion holds weight. And yes, it's okay to grieve the loss. Let the tears fall if they must. But don't stay in that place. Don't build shrines to relationships I've deconstructed. Don't chase after what I've clearly closed. Every time you return to a place I've called you out of, you delay your own release. Let them go. Let it fall away. Let me be enough. Because I will bring new voices in time, ones that don't need explanations. Ones that see the oil and honor the assignment. But first, I need you to stand firm without needing to be understood. That's where true authority is formed, not in the crowd, but in the quiet. You've noticed it. Things that should have moved faster suddenly slowed down. Plans that were unfolding smoothly begin to stall without explanation. You've done all I asked. You've stayed in position. You've obeyed my voice. And yet, doors remain shut. Conversations go quiet. Opportunities slip through your fingers. And your mind starts to wonder, did I miss something? But I need you to look at it again. Not through frustration, but through wisdom. These aren't denials. These are delays by design. These pauses are not punishment. They are protection. I've seen what you haven't. I know what's operating behind the surface. And some of what you've been praying to step into has spiritual traps hidden beneath natural attraction. Had I allowed that meeting to happen on your timeline, it would have attached you to someone with hidden agendas. If I had given you that opportunity when you wanted it, it would have opened you up to partnerships that would manipulate your voice. There are places that look ready, but are not built for your assignment. And if you would have walked into them too early, the weight of premature exposure would have crushed what I'm still fortifying inside you. You don't see the full battlefield, but I do. You don't know who's watching with envy, who's waiting to exploit your trust, who's studying your movement for ways to undermine it. But I see every motive, every plot, every unseen intent. So yes, I slowed it down. I interrupted what felt like momentum. I shifted schedules. I routed what looked like divine timing. Not because you're not ready, but because what was waiting on the other side was not safe. There's a difference between open and ordained. And I will never push you into something that risks your spiritual foundation, no matter how much you think you're prepared. You may feel the delay, but you've been spared from sabotage, and you won't fully understand that until later. When you look back, you'll see how close you were to deception. How near you came to giving your energy to something that looked holy but was rooted in pride. You'll thank me for every no. You'll praise me for every detour. Because what I withheld was never out of cruelty, it was out of covenant. I've invested too much in you to allow the enemy to intercept your calling with counterfeit offers. And the enemy knows he can't remove your anointing, but he can try to distract it, delay it, dilute it. That's why he sends opportunities that stroke your ego. People who mirror your language but not your spirit. Doors that seem like favor but are secretly designed to exhaust your fire. And when you don't recognize it, I step in. I let the meeting fall through. I let the email go unanswered. I let the conversation stall, not to discourage you, but to direct you. You see closed access. I see divine adjustment. And what feels like stagnation is actually preservation. So don't lose heart when things pause. Don't interpret the delay as rejection. Don't get bitter when it takes longer than you thought. You're not behind. You're being safeguarded. The timing is not broken. It's being purified. Because when the release comes, it will be clean, protected, holy. It will not cost you your rest. It will not trade your discernment for visibility. It will not make you compromise to keep the door open. What I'm preparing you for is sustainable. It's built in peace. It's born in wisdom. And when you walk through it, you'll know nothing was stolen. Nothing was lost. It was just being made ready. Trust the slowdown. Trust the stillness. Trust the version of me that leads not by speed but by protection. I'm not trying to make you wait. I'm making sure you're never wounded by what you thought was a blessing. Let patience have its full work. I'm not delaying your life. I'm defending your future. I see you, my child, sitting in the silence, surrounded by shadows that make you question if I've stepped back. The familiar voices have grown faint. The crowd you once leaned on no longer surrounds you. The ones who used to check in have gone quiet. And in this stillness, it's easy to confuse isolation with rejection. But listen carefully. I haven't abandoned you. I've drawn you into a consecrated place, away from the noise, so that I can elevate your hearing, deepen your discernment, and increase your authority in the unseen realm. I separate those I strengthen. I call aside those I crown. And right now, This isn't distance, it's divine training. You've been asking me for greater purpose, for a sharper gift, for clarity in your steps. But these things aren't given in the crowd. They're refined in the cave. The solitude is not a punishment. It's a furnace. I'm burning away the distractions, the crutches, the dependencies that dulled your hearing. I'm stripping back every layer that made you believe you needed someone else to confirm what I've already spoken. Because the next level of power I'm releasing through you must be rooted in unshakable intimacy, not shallow agreement. You cannot walk in kingdom authority if you're still tethered to human approval. So I've pulled you back. Not because I'm done with you, but because I'm about to do something in you that requires full focus and undivided surrender. This isolation is producing weight. The kind of weight that shifts atmospheres when you enter a room. The kind of weight that breaks chains without needing to speak. But that kind of authority doesn't come cheap. It comes through separation. I'm teaching you the language of silence, the power of stillness, the strength of knowing who you are in me without needing the crowd to cheer for it. Because when I bring you back into the open, there will be no doubt you've been with me. Your voice will carry evidence, not opinion. Your presence will carry answers, not anxiety. And people will encounter my spirit through you, not because you said much, but because you let me refine much. It's uncomfortable. I know. The silence feels heavy. The distance feels unfair. But this is where I pour the oil. In the quiet. In the dark. Away from the spotlight. I'm not wasting your time. I'm multiplying your mental. I'm giving you language for what's to come. I'm expanding your inner capacity so that when I place more on your shoulders, you'll carry it with grace, not weariness. I'm strengthening your spine so that when pressure comes, you don't crumble, you rise. And that kind of internal fortitude doesn't come from public applause. It comes from private refining. You keep asking, why is no one reaching out? But I'm the one who's keeping them back. Not because they are wrong, but because they're not part of this segment. What I'm doing in you now cannot be explained. It must be revealed. And I will reveal it, not through conversation, but through transformation. When you emerge from this season, the change will be undeniable. The wisdom will be deeper. The fire will be purer. The vision will be clearer. And you'll understand that isolation was never a sign of absence. It was proof of intimacy. Stop trying to fill the silence. Stop trying to rush the solitude. Let it do its work. Let it carve you into the vessel I need for what's coming. Because what I'm building in you now will not only sustain you, it will rescue others. You carry oil that heals, words that cut through deception, presence that provokes repentance. But first, I must finish the work in the wilderness. Don't resist it. Don't rush it. Just remain. Stay near. Stay open. I'm closer than you feel. I'm louder than the silence. And when the time comes, I will bring you forth with evidence that the cave wasn't a detour. It was the altar where your mantle was sealed. Child, there are storms that do not arrive with thunder. They creep in quietly, masked as convenience or opportunity. But what I am doing in you right now is not only preparing you to stand in battles, I am equipping your spirit to sense them before they surface. I am awakening a new layer of spiritual alertness within you. You are not just being trained to endure. You are being entrusted with foresight. That knowing in your spirit that won't let you proceed, the sudden lack of peace, the weight you feel before a decision, those aren't coincidences. That's my spirit stirring your discernment to recognize what the eyes can't yet see. You've been asking me to make the path clearer, but the clarity I give does not always come through signs. It often comes through stillness. I am heightening your spiritual reflexes. No longer will you be reactive. You will be proactive in your warfare. When others are caught off guard, you will have already shifted your posture. You will no longer be blindsided by the enemy's schemes. Your spirit will respond before your mind can explain. Because this next level requires sharpness, not emotional reaction, spiritual precision. I am training you to sense deception beneath charm, danger beneath distraction, and delay beneath what looks like destiny. Many fall not because they are weak, but because they were unaware. I will not allow that for you. You've come too far. You surrendered too deeply. And because you've invited me to be the center of your every step, I'm granting you access to something others ignore: supernatural intelligence. I will whisper warnings before chaos erupts. I will shut doors that appear beautiful but carry decay. I will even cause people to exit your life before their hidden agenda can take root. Don't grieve these divine disruptions. Honor them. They are my strategy, not sabotage. You are being moved from survival to surveillance. You will scan the atmosphere before you speak. You will weigh the spiritual tone of rooms before you commit. You'll know when something is off even if everyone around you says it's right. That is not paranoia. It is protection. That's the fruit of intimacy with me. I reveal secrets to those who sit with me consistently, not those who wait for emergencies. You've been sitting. You've been listening. You've been obedient in the quiet, and now I'm responding by sharpening your sight. There will be moments when you will not understand why I say not yet or not them or not this. Trust it. Even when it's inconvenient. Even when it disrupts your plans. Because I do not lead you with cruelty, I lead with covenant. If I'm closing a path, it's not to rob you of progress. It's to reroute you toward preservation. If I'm urging you to pause, it's not punishment. It's positioning. I will not always give you all the reasons at once. But you will feel that heaviness in your chest, that check in your gut, that unrest in your spirit. Learn to listen when peace disappears. That's me. You won't always be able to explain what you sense, and you don't have to. The sensitivity I'm giving you is not for validation, it's for direction. I didn't call you to be understood by all. I called you to be led by me. So don't argue with discernment. Don't silence your spiritual alarms just to please people. You'll never regret following me, but you will regret ignoring what I revealed in advance. Even if it costs you comfort, even if it delays your plans, even if it isolates you from those who don't carry this burden, obey. The strength of your future victories will be traced back to the battles you avoided because of discernment. And I will honor your sensitivity by increasing your authority. What you hear in secret will carry weight in public. What you obey in private will protect generations. You are not being overcautious. You are being entrusted. Let your spirit stay alert. This is not fear. This is wisdom. This is the shield I place upon those I'm sending into environments that require eyes beyond the natural. Wad forward. Head high. Spirit open. You're not just ready for the battle, you're being formed to spot it before it starts. The strength I'm building within you is not to be wasted in battles that do not matter. You've learned how to endure pain. You've walked through betrayal. You've cried in silence and stood firm when no one noticed. But now I'm shifting you. I'm not just training your hands for war. I'm giving your heart new priorities. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Not every offense is meant to be answered. And not every voice that challenges you is worth your breath. Because the next level of spiritual maturity I'm drawing you into isn't about knowing how to strike. It's about knowing when to stay silent, when to step away, and when to stand your ground with stillness, not noise. You've spent too long fighting distractions, defending yourself, trying to correct false narratives, chasing closure from people who were never assigned to understand you. But I'm putting an end to that now. I'm not calling you to exhaustion, I'm calling you to discernment. And the enemy has tried to tangle you up in constant reaction, hoping to wear you down before your real assignment begins. But I will allow it. That's why I've been stripping away your need to prove, to explain, to respond. Because the battles ahead will not be won by argument, they'll be won by alignment. And when you're aligned with my spirit, you'll no longer waste your sword on things I never told you to fight. Not every attack is a call to over. Some are distractions meant to delay your destiny. And if the enemy can keep you emotionally invested in temporary drama, he knows you won't have the strength to focus on eternal victory. But I'm setting you apart. I'm giving you a deeper filter. I'm training your spirit to recognize when an invitation to conflict is a trap, not a mission. I want your heart to learn peace in the presence of accusation. I want your soul to remain quiet when provoked. Because your strength is not in how loud you respond. It's in how anchored you stay when provoked. The real battles I'm preparing you for are not about reputation. They are about legacy. They are about freeing those who are bound. They are about carrying answers into dry places. They are about confronting darkness not with noise, but with light. And for that, you need every ounce of your spiritual strength. You need unbroken focus. You need to conserve what I've placed within you for the places that truly matter. Don't let your virtue be drained in unnecessary conflict. Don't let your patience be swallowed up by pettiness. You've outgrown the need to win arguments. Now you must focus on winning souls, carrying purpose, and releasing breakthrough where I send you. You'll notice a new grace falling on you. The urge to clap back will start to fade. The need to correct every lie will no longer feel urgent. And instead, a new awareness will grow, the kind that guards your peace like treasure. Because where I'm sending you, peace will be your weapon. It will disarm chaos. It will silence confusion. It will disrupt demonic activity without you saying a word. You'll stand in rooms where agendas swirl, and your stillness will speak louder than any defense. That's not weakness, that's authority under control. And when it's time to fight, you'll know it. Not because your emotions are stirred, but because my spirit will burn in you with precision. I will show you when to speak and what to declare. I will give you words that cut through atmospheres like thunder. But those moments will come often. They will come with weight. And they won't be about you proving a point. They'll be about me executing justice through you. So release the burden of always responding. Let go of the temptation to defend your name. Your identity is not fragile. It's been secured in me. And your calling is not up for debate. It's been anointed by my hand. What matters now is this: protect your fire, preserve your strength, and only draw your sword when I hand it to you. That's how you will finish well. That's how you will keep your peace in a world screaming for attention. That's how you will rise with purpose while others waste time in pointless war. Here's a kind of power the world applauds, the kind that shouts the loudest, that moves the fastest, that dominates rooms with noise and appearance. But I'm not interested in giving you that kind of strength, child. What I'm building in you is something deeper, quieter, stronger, a power that remains when the applause fades, that doesn't shake when opinions shift, and that doesn't collapse when pressure increases. You've cried out for more, and I've answered, but not in the way you expected. I didn't amplify your volume. I deepened your endurance. Because this battle you've entered requires stamina, not just spark. It's easy to begin with fire, but what sustains you when the flame flickers? What holds you upright when encouragement is absent? What carries you forward when every step feels uphill? That's the strength I'm planting within you now. It's the strength that doesn't shout for attention but holds its ground when everything around it trembles. It's the kind of strength that isn't built in public. It's cultivated in private, in the hours no one sees, in the prayers that feel unanswered, in the silence that feels eternal. That's where the roots go deep. That's where unshakable strength is born. You won't always feel it, but it's there. Every time you've chosen to stay faithful instead of bitter, I was layering another foundation of resilience inside your spirit. Every time you forgave without receiving apology, I was reinforcing your character with heaven's grit. Every time you moved forward without clarity, I was teaching you to walk by faith, not sight. That's what lasting strength looks like. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. But it lasts. And what lasts, child, outlives every storm. Because storms will come. They won't always announce themselves. But I've not left you defenseless. I've been preparing your spirit for years, shaping, pressing, refining. I've allowed certain hardships not to harm you but to teach you the rhythm of my strength. You've learned how to keep moving even with tears in your eyes. You've discovered the power of worship with a trembling voice. You've found the ability to stand tall even with tired knees. That's not weakness. That's proof that my spirit is alive inside you. And now, I'm showing you how to protect this strength. Don't let busyness steal your breath. Don't let the demands of people crowd out your connection with me. You must guard the place where your strength is refilled, my presence. You can't afford to run on empty, not now. I'm giving you assignments that require clarity. I'm leading you into moments that demand full capacity. I won't force you, but I will invite you. Come back to the stillness. Return to the quiet. Let me pour into you again, not with noise, but with power that settles and secures. I want you strong, not just for yourself, but for others who are about to lean on you. There are people coming who will need your calm in their chaos, your fire in their fatigue, your peace in their panic. But you can't give what you haven't received. So before you pour out, let me fill you. Let me saturate you with strength that doesn't fade under pressure. This isn't hype. It's holy endurance. It's the kind of spiritual fortitude that will make demons retreat without you raising your voice. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need to be seen to be effective. You're being equipped to outlast, not just to impress. I don't want you to rise fast and burn out. I want you to move steady and finish well. That's why I've been slowing things down, redirecting your focus, anchoring you deeper than you've ever gone. Because what I've placed in you must be protected. The battles you face are not just about now, they are about legacy. And legacy is not built in haste. It's built with holy patience and heaven-born strength. So breathe deep. Keep your posture steady. Know that what I'm forging in you cannot be stolen. You're not weak for needing rest. You're wise for returning to me for renewal. And every time you choose me over movement, stillness over striving, prayer over panic, your strength multiplies. Quietly, deeply, permanently. Victory is not always loud, my child. Sometimes the most powerful breakthroughs are birthed in moments no one sees. The world has taught you to measure success by visibility, applause, and reaction, but I'm dismantling that mindset. What I'm doing in your life right now is not for public display but for divine development. I'm showing you how to take territory in silence, how to reclaim peace without conflict, and how to overturn battles without drawing a crowd. Because the kind of victory I am leading you into requires a different strategy, one not rooted in earthly performance, but in kingdom precision. You see, when you walk with me, you don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The authority I've given you is not tied to volume, but to alignment. When your heart stays close to mine, every word you speak, even the quiet ones, carries the weight of heaven. When you obey without delay, even your silence echoes across the spirit realm. And when you refuse to be baited by chaos, the enemy loses his grip without you raising your voice. This is how I lead my warriors, with clarity, not confusion. With power, not panic. Right now, I am removing the temptation to be reactive. I know it feels natural to respond when misunderstood. I know how much you want to explain yourself, defend your name, or clarify your motives. But I am calling you to a higher way. I'm inviting you to the kind of dominion that needs no defense, the kind of power that doesn't flinch in the face of lies. You do not need to meet every challenge with words. Some victories come by simply refusing to give darkness your attention. When you choose stillness over retaliation, you're not surrendering, you're standing. You're saying, I know who fights for me. The enemy wants to exhaust you through arguments that go nowhere, by stirring conflict that depletes your focus, and by dragging you into emotional fights that delay your purpose. But I have better for you. I'm teaching you to rise with wisdom, not wrath. To walk in peace, not pride. To know when to speak, and when your silence carries more authority than speech ever could. Because in this new place I'm taking you, you won't win by being louder. You'll win by being anchored. There will be moments when I will tell you to speak boldly, and you will. But that will come from overflow, not desperation. It will come from revelation, not reaction. And when I do call you to speak, your words will be like thunder in the spirit. Not because you tried to make them powerful, but because they came from a heart that stayed still in me. That's what makes your voice dangerous to the enemy. Not your tone, but your truth. Not your volume, but your vessel. So remain yielded. Stay close. Keep your soul quiet enough to hear when I whisper the strategy. This is why I've been drawing you into places of deep reflection. This is why the noise around you has grown louder, because I am training you to find strength in stillness. The more the world shouts, the more I will sharpen your hearing. I am not interested in you winning the argument. I'm interested in you winning the war. And many of the battles you'll face from here forward won't be about being right. They'll be about remaining righteous. You will overcome not by debate, but by discernment. Let me deal with what tries to rise against you. Let me handle what feels unjust. Your role is to remain obedient, to stay positioned, to guard your peace like it's sacred, because it is. I have poured my peace into you not to make you passive, but to make you precise. You don't need the last word. You need the next step. And I am giving it to you now. Walk in it. Don't argue for your place. I've already secured it. Don't perform for attention. I've already seen you. And in the quiet, your victory will begin to unfold. Steady, strong, undeniable. Child, what you are stepping into now is not a season of comfort, but a passage of consecration. This is not where you coast. This is where you carry fire. Not fire that consumes you, but fire that refines you. There are flames I've allowed not to punish you but to purify you. And though the heat may feel intense, you will not be destroyed. You are walking through what others would run from, and still, you will emerge without the smell of smoke on you. That is the miracle I am performing even now. You will come through this, not only intact but transformed. You may not see the danger around you with physical eyes, but your spirit feels it. You sense the weight, the pressure, the spiritual tension. It's real. But do not mistake pressure for defeat. What's around you is not greater than what's within you. My spirit, which lives in you, cannot be drowned by fear or extinguished by adversity. I am making you fireproof, not so you can avoid the heat, but so you can endure what others couldn't survive. I'm letting you walk through this unseen fire so that your faith becomes more than theory. It becomes proof. Right now, you are learning how to stand firm in what you know, not just in what you feel. Feelings are fleeting. Faith is a foundation. You won't always feel brave, but you will be courageous. You won't always feel strong, but strength will rise when you take the next step. You won't always feel me close, but I haven't moved. I'm beside you in this furnace, shielding what the enemy tried to break. He wanted to burn your hope to ashes. He wanted to melt your resolve. But I've stepped in and made the flames serve a different purpose. They are refining, not ruining. Others may question how you keep moving without clarity. They don't see what you hear. They don't know that I've whispered assurance into your soul that overpowers every doubt. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Your obedience doesn't need to be understood by anyone. It only needs to be anchored in me. And I say this to you with urgency, because I know you've been tempted to step out of the fire prematurely. But don't. There is something sacred happening in the middle of this burning. Stay where I've placed you until I say move. There's an unshakable version of you being forged here. The weapons against you may look invisible, but I am disarming them as you worship. I'm neutralizing their power not by removing the fire, but by increasing your resistance. You are no longer who you used to be. What would have overwhelmed you 6 months ago can't reach you now. You're not the same. You've gained endurance in the invisible realm, and that strength cannot be stolen. You've been fasting distractions. You've been feeding your spirit with my word. You've been walking in obedience when it felt costly. That obedience is now shielding you from the fallout of every fiery attack. And there's something else you must know. Others are watching you in this fire, not to see you fail, but to find hope through your perseverance. You're becoming a sign, not of perfection, but of persistence. You're showing them what it looks like to trust me when nothing makes sense. You're proving that intimacy with me is enough to walk through danger unscathed. You are showing them that peace isn't circumstantial, it's spiritual. And the courage that's rising in you will begin to spark something in them too. Because that's what fire does when it's controlled by me. It spreads life, not destruction. So keep walking, even when you can't see the end. Don't run. Don't retreat. Don't curse the heat. I am in this fire with you. Not watching from a distance, walking through it beside you. Every tear you've cried hath been caught. Every groan you've released has been heard. And every silent surrender hath been recorded in heaven. You are not alone in this furnace. You are accompanied by glory. I will bring you out, not as a survivor but as a vessel of power. And when the smoke clears, there will be no question, not to you, not to them, not even to the enemy, that I was with you all along. Child, if your goal is merely to make it through, then you've already settled for less than I intended. You were not created to just endure storms, you were born to interrupt them. My hand is upon you not to help you blend in with fear, but to help you stand out in faith. I've anointed you to walk into heavy places and cause the spiritual atmosphere to bend toward heaven. I've given you authority not to mirror your surroundings but to shift them, with your presence, with your prayers, with your faith that refuses to bow to what's seen. You're not called to adapt, you're called to activate. Every room you enter is a battleground, not of flesh, but of spirit. And I have placed my light within you for a reason. That light is not decorative. It's not optional. It's essential. You carry the evidence of my power. And that means darkness feels you before you say a word. Don't forget that. When you walk into chaos and feel opposition, it is not a sign to retreat. It is proof that you're carrying something worth resisting. But I didn't put this weight on you to crush you. I placed this fire in your bones to ignite what's been frozen in others. You are not here to adjust to the cold. You are here to release heat. I need you to understand this. Spiritual influence isn't measured by how loud you are or how many notice you. It's measured by how atmospheres respond when you pray. It's seen in how fear begins to lose its grip when you walk in peace. It's proven when confusion dissolves because you brought truth without shouting. You don't need a platform to shift a room. You need my presence. And you have it. When you enter places of heaviness, you don't have to ask for permission to bring light. Just walk in alignment with me, and the atmosphere will submit without a fight. Here's a reason I've been refining your internal world so deeply. You've wondered why I've been confronting hidden thoughts, motives, and habits that no one else sees. It's because I can't send you to shift external spaces if your internal space is still cluttered with doubt and compromise. I'm making your spirit pure so your authority can be clear. I'm cleansing you so the oil can flow. Because when you are whole, your very breath carries the weight of heaven. You don't even have to touch someone for healing to begin. You don't have to explain yourself for clarity to settle. That's the kind of shift I'm equipping you to release. You won't always feel the effect immediately. Sometimes the room won't change while you're still in it. But seeds will be planted. Chains will begin to loosen. Clarity will begin to form in hearts clouded by lies. Because your presence isn't ordinary, it's prophetic. You are not bringing human charisma. You are hosting divine collision. And when you speak from the place of intimacy with me, even hardened hearts will start to soften. Even demonic strongholds will start to tremble. Even environments soaked in darkness will begin to crack open. Not because of who you are, but because of who is in you. Don't apologize for this mantle. Don't shrink because others don't understand it. They weren't there when I called you. They didn't see the midnight tears. They didn't hear the groans you released when you thought no one was listening. But I did. And I responded by marking you. So now, when you enter a space, it will never be the same again. And yes, it might make some uncomfortable. Not everyone will celebrate the shift. But that's not your burden to carry. Your job is to obey. My job is to move. So rise, my atmosphere shifter. Don't just survive rooms, transform them. Don't just escape battles, rewire the battlegrounds. Don't just adapt to pressure, overturn it with presence. And don't doubt the effect of your obedience just because it's invisible at first. What you carry is not subtle in the spirit. It is seismic. It is disruptive. It is heaven sent. And the real battle ahead isn't whether you can endure. It's whether you will recognize your assignment and walk in it without apology. You've been wondering why it feels like certain people have pulled away. Why conversations once full of energy now feel empty. Why your circle has grown smaller, quieter, unfamiliar. I know the silence feels heavy. I know the loneliness sometimes gnaws at your confidence, making you question if you've done something wrong. But child, this is not punishment. It's preparation. I'm not pushing people away to hurt you. I'm pulling you close because I'm entrusting you with something that demands separation. You've outgrown the noise. You've outgrown the validation. And now, you're being set apart because you're about to be sent out. What I'm placing in your hands cannot be filtered through every voice. Not everyone can handle the weight of your calling. Not everyone should have access to the most sacred parts of your process. So I've allowed the silence, not as rejection, but as refinement. I'm not hiding from you. I'm hiding you. I'm preserving what I'm doing in you from contamination. Just like I hid Moses in the wilderness before revealing his assignment. Just like I pulled Elijah to the cave before he heard my whisper. Just like I separated Jesus into the desert before he stepped into public ministry. You're in divine hiding, not human rejection. It's in this hidden space where I am sharpening your vision. I am clarifying your voice. I am stripping away dependence on applause so you learn to move only at my word. Because when I send you, it must not be with mixed motives. You cannot carry my message and crave their approval. You cannot walk in divine purpose and seek comfort from human applause. So I'm cutting off what distracted you. I'm pulling the cords from relationships that only drained your focus. And though it stings, it's mercy, because I'd rather you hurt for a moment than be hindered for a lifetime. This is the place where you stop needing company to feel secure. Where you stop measuring your value by how many check in. Where you finally learn that solitude with me outweighs the noise of a crowded room. What I whisper to you here will not be diluted. You will be pure, powerful, unmistakable. This is where generals are made. Not in stages, not in platforms, but in private places that no one claps for. That's where the real oil is produced, in the crushing, in the pressing, in the silence that teaches you to hear my heartbeat over the screams of doubt. Don't rush out of this moment. Don't beg me to fill the space I empty. I remove them for a reason. Because what I'm about to reveal to you requires no interference. You are learning to stand without support, to pray without prompting, to lead without being noticed. And this is the foundation that will carry the weight of what's coming next. You're not losing people, you're gaining clarity. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. You're not forgotten, you're being fortified. And soon I will send you. But when I do, you won't walk out needing applause. You won't need affirmation to move. You won't chase connections. You'll carry my fire with focus. You'll speak without hesitation. You'll walk into dark places and know exactly who you are. Not because others told you, but because I told you. And in this secret place, you believed me. Let the pruning continue. Let the silence stretch. Don't fight the stillness. It's building your strength. What I've prepared for you on the other side of this separation cannot be compared to what you think you've lost. Stay hidden a little longer, and let me do what no one else can do. Anchor your identity so deep in me that nothing and no one can uproot it. When you emerge, you'll carry the weight of heaven without cracking. You'll walk with power that doesn't need to announce itself. This is not isolation. This is consecration. And what I separate, I send, but only when the time is perfect. And child, the hour is drawing close. Child, hear me clearly now. The next phase I'm walking you into will not make sense to your natural mind. And it's not supposed to. If it did, it wouldn't be supernatural. What I'm calling you to do will not align with conventional timing, predictable pathways, or the advice of those who only walk by sight. I am requiring obedience that leans fully on trust, not understanding. I'm moving you into decisions that will look risky from the outside, but are rooted in divine instruction from the inside. This isn't reckless faith, it's radical surrender. And it will be tested. You've asked me to use you greatly. You've begged me to break chains, open doors, and release anointing that changes lives. Now I'm answering. But it's not coming in the way you imagined. I'm calling you to take steps that might confuse others. I'm asking you to release things they think you should keep, and embrace things they think you're not ready for. This is where you stop being led by approval and start moving at my whisper. Your reputation may take hits. Your motives may be misunderstood. But your alignment with me must not waver. I'm not building comfort. I'm building capacity. This will feel like walking on water, and I know you'd prefer solid ground. But solid ground never taught faith. Peter didn't see the miracle until he stepped into the impossible. And now I'm placing you in a similar moment. The shore is safe but sterile. The deep is dangerous but divine. And I am in the deep, waiting. You will not sink. You will not fail. You will see what I've been preparing, but it will only unfold as you walk. I will not give you the blueprint first. I will give you the next step, then the next. I'm training your eyes to follow, not to calculate. The resistance you're feeling isn't always warfare. Sometimes it's the tension of being stretched. I'm expanding your obedience. I'm asking for quicker yeses. Delayed obedience is still disobedience, and you can no longer afford to hesitate when I speak. Not in this hour. What hangs in the balance is too significant. I'm raising you to a level where your response time matters. The longer you wrestle with instructions, the more you allow fear to pollute your decision-making. But when you act swiftly at my word, you activate heaven's acceleration. It's not about perfection, it's about posture. And when I ask you to do the illogical, it's not to humiliate you, it's to distinguish you. No, build an ark with no rain. Abraham climbed a mountain with no explanation. Gideon reduced his army with no strategy. These weren't foolish men, they were faithful. And the same mantle is now resting on you. Will you still follow when others scoff? Will you still obey when no one else agrees? Because what I'm releasing through your life is meant to break cycles for generations. It's bigger than comfort. It's about legacy. It's about eternity. You don't need to explain yourself. You need to remain focused. The evidence will come after the obedience. The provision will chase the surrender. But for now, your obedience is the seed, and I will not let it fall to the ground void. Every yes you whisper in private is shaking things in the spirit realm. Every time you silence fear to follow me, you are ripping territory out of the enemy's grip. It may not be loud, but it is lethal. Don't wait for confirmation from man when you already received instruction from me. This is how I refine my warriors. Not in the obvious, but in the obscure. Not by explaining everything, but by seeing if you will follow it anyway. And child, the more you yield, the more I reveal. You are standing at the edge of something monumental, but your next step must be trust. Lay down your need to figure it all out. Lay down your craving for reassurance. You have my voice. That is enough. Move. The doors will open mid-step. The waters will part mid-march. The breakthrough will erupt mid-obedience. But you must go forward. Not when it's clear, but when it's me. Beloved, you spent too long waiting for a response from people who were never assigned to your journey. You've allowed silence from others to create noise within your soul. You've replayed moments, words, and decisions, hoping for applause or understanding. But I need you to release that weight now. What I've whispered in secret holds more authority than anything shouted in public. I confirmed your calling in the quiet. I marked your purpose in the stillness. I handed you this assignment when no one else was watching, because I never needed a crowd to establish my voice in your life. I'm teaching you to walk with confidence that doesn't crumble in the absence of attention. Because what you carry is not built on visibility. It's rooted in intimacy. You are not empowered by the spotlight. You are sustained by my presence. The ones I use most powerfully are not always the ones seen by the masses, but the ones who stood firm when no one noticed. They kept showing up. They kept praying. They kept believing. And I counted every act of obedience as sacred. Right now, the enemy is trying to convince you that you're behind, that you've missed your moment, or worse, that you never had one. But that's a lie forged in insecurity, not birthed from truth. I'm not pacing heaven worried about your timeline. I'm orchestrating things with precision. What seems like delay is divine design, and what looks like rejection is actually redirection away from places that couldn't handle your weight. You don't need their stage to prove anything. I am your platform, and what I've ordained, no lack of support can cancel. You've been looking for fruit, but I'm growing your roots. You've wanted impact, but I'm building integrity. You've prayed for harvest, and I'm preparing your heart to carry it without corruption. Because when the breakthrough comes, I don't want you addicted to applause. I want you addicted to me. I don't want you shaping your obedience based on reaction. I want you anchored in revelation. So yes, this part feels hidden. It feels thankless. But it's essential. I'm growing you into someone who leads without needing to be led by the opinions of others. You need to know this. Silence is not a sign that you're forgotten. It's an indication that your instructions came from a higher authority. When you move at my word, even when it's quiet around you, you shake realms unseen. And there are people watching from a distance, not to celebrate, but to assess. Let them watch. Your consistency will preach louder than your explanation. And when the fruit appears, they'll see what I saw in you all along. Do not look to the left or the right. Do not scroll and compare your path with those running in different lanes. Your assignment is tailor-made. Their pace has nothing to do with your destination. You are not late. You are not less. You are not overlooked. I've been walking with you every step, even when the crowd walked away. I've been depositing strength, vision, and discernment for what's next. And what's coming cannot be sustained by public praise. It requires private resolve. So I'm anchoring you here, beneath the surface where no eyes see, but my spirit moves freely. When it's time, the unveiling will be undeniable. Not manufactured, not forced, but undeniable. And those who doubt it will wonder how it happened. Let them. Your absence only made room for my presence. Your silence gave space for my voice to grow louder. And their withdrawal allowed you to see that you never needed them. You only needed me. So lift your head. The crowd is not your compass. My presence is. The applause is not your confirmation. My peace is. And if I've called you, I will carry you, with or without the fanfare. You are doing better than you know. And the ones who were meant to walk with you, I'll send them. But for now, walk forward anyway. Because this next move, it's between you and me. This next ground you are about to take is not unclaimed. It is occupied. It is filled with strongholds, patterns, and powers that have resisted movement for years. This is not ordinary ground. This is legacy-shifting, curse-breaking, kingdom-expanding ground. And it will not be given. It must be taken. Not by force of your flesh, but by the authority of my spirit resting within you. You must know that the very opposition you feel is not a sign you're in the wrong place. It's evidence that you've arrived exactly where the enemy hoped you'd never stand. I didn't raise you to fear giants. I've been preparing your hands to war and your heart to believe even when the odds scream defeat. The battles of the past weren't just for survival. They were training for this exact assignment. Every disappointment carved out discernment. Every betrayal refined your boundaries. Every closed door shaped your dependence. Nothing was wasted. I have turned every valley into a classroom. And now, you are not just someone with a calling, you are someone with spiritual stamina. You've been broken in the right places so I could pour strength where there once was fear. This territory is guarded because it's valuable, and that's why it's been fought over for generations. Others gave up trying to claim it. Some compromised to dwell near it. But I've chosen you not to settle beside it, but to take it. You were not meant to just look at the promise from a distance. You are the fulfillment of the prayers your ancestors whispered but didn't live long enough to see answered. That's why the resistance feels personal. Because your breakthrough isn't just for you. It's for every generation after you. That's why the enemy is nervous. I need you to rise up with a resolve that cannot be shaken by intimidation. Giants shout loud to make you forget who you are. But don't you dare drop your weapon. Don't you dare bow your head. You've already crossed too much wilderness to turn around now. And what's in front of you may be massive, but what's in you is unstoppable. The Goliaths were never a threat to David because David never relied on what he could carry. He moved with the one who carried him. So do you. You're not alone on this battlefield. Child, this is not the time to shrink. This is the time to advance. I've surrounded you with angelic backup. I've clothed you in unseen fire. The ground is trembling not because of your weakness, but because your presence signals my authority is about to shift everything. You are walking into systems that have never been challenged. You are speaking into environments that have never hosted truth. You are dismantling chains others call normal. And they won't understand it. Some will resist you. But don't let that pull you into distraction. Stay focused. Stay obedient. Stay grounded. Remember this: your weapons are not carnal. You fight with peace that disarms confusion. You battle with joy that confounds sorrow. You strike with prayer that pierces the unseen. And when you speak, it will not be empty noise. It will be sound backed by heaven. There will be tremors in the spirit realm because you dared to believe I meant every word I spoke over you. That's why hell tried to silence you early. That's why fear wrapped around your voice. But not anymore. Your mouth is not a victim, it's a vessel. And now it will release the roar I placed inside you. So go, child. Take the territory. Not by might, not by charm, not by strategy, but by the Spirit of the living God. This battle is already declared victorious, but I need your feet to walk it out. I need your voice to echo what I've decreed. I need your faith to outlast the noise. You are not an accidental soldier. You are a chosen warrior. And this ground, this sacred, bloody, long-contested ground, is about to bow to the authority of heaven moving through you. Step in. Step strong. Step now. Child, hear me. What you're stepping into is so much more than a personal win. What I'm doing through you is shifting the atmosphere for those connected to your name, even those who came before you. You are standing on ground where generations were silenced, oppressed, and dismissed. But now, I've raised you as a voice that cannot be muted. You are not just an individual believer. You are a door. You are the hinge on which the generational narrative swings open into something new. What I'm doing in you is sacred, and it's going to shatter the ceilings others could not break through. You were never meant to repeat the cycles you grew up witnessing. That's why the tension in your soul has been rising, because your spirit knows you were built for more than dysfunction disguised as normal. The patterns of shame, silence, addiction, fear, and scarcity end here. Not because of willpower, not because of performance, but because of yielded obedience. The blood of Jesus already settled the victory. Now, your agreement with the truth is enforcing it in the physical realm. This is what it means to war with worry. This is what it looks like to war with truth. I am not calling you to escape your family's story. I'm calling you to rewrite it. And I know that's a weight you never asked to carry. But you were handpicked for this very reason. You have eyes that see beyond what others settle for. You have a spirit that doesn't blend in with compromise. You have a heart that aches when peace is missing, and a voice that trembles not from fear, but from fire. And fire I lit. The fire no storm can quench. And now that fire is going to consume the very foundations the enemy tried to cement. This is why you've been under pressure in ways others couldn't see. It's why your nights were restless and your tears frequent. It's why your warfare wasn't random, it was inherited. But now, I'm giving you the tools to turn inherited weight into generational wealth. I'm handing you blueprints that go beyond your needs and step into your legacy. Because when I restore, I don't restore in small portions. I restore with overflow. And when I rebuild, I don't stop at the surface. I dig down into the roots and establish something that cannot be shaken. Do not be surprised when I ask you to do what no one else in your family has done. You are not meant to blend into the past. You are meant to pioneer a future. That will mean making decisions that feel lonely. That will mean saying no to patterns that others are still justifying. That will mean walking away from environments that refuse to shift. But do not grieve what I remove. I prune what hinders. I cut away what cannot go forward. And every yes you give me now is planting seeds your children will one day harvest. You will see healing where there was only pain. You will see reconciliation where there was only division. You will see clarity where there was only confusion. And it will not be forced. It will flow. Because when heaven backs your movement, it doesn't come with striving, it comes with grace. It's what is being released over you now. Grace to end what began long before you were born, and strength to begin what eyes have not yet seen. You are not just the answer to your own prayers. You are the answer to the groanings of those who came before you. And child, don't think you're too late. Don't think you're too unqualified. I don't choose by resume. I choose by readiness. And you've been made ready in the furnace, in the hidden place, in the depths no one else saw. Now you rise. Not for applause, but for alignment. Live or fame, live or fight. Because what happens next doesn't just change your life. It transforms everything connected to your name. And this time, the cycle won't repeat. This time, the blessing won't break. This time, the battle will not win. Because you finally believed what I've always known. You were born to break it. And born to begin again. The reason your journey has not mirrored the smooth paths others walked is because your assignment was never meant to produce comfort. It was meant to provoke transformation. I did not choose you for applause, popularity, or a paying-free path. I chose you for power. I marked you to shake spiritual systems. I positioned you to carry a weight that demands refinement, not convenience. You keep asking me why the pressure hasn't let up. But child, pressure is the preparation for permanence. What I place on you must last, not just for your life, but for generations beyond you. You've been mistaking resistance for rejection. But what you are feeling isn't abandonment. It's the press of divine formation. I'm stretching you because what I'm about to pour through you cannot be contained by a life still seeking permission to obey me fully. You don't need to be validated by circumstances. You've already been authorized by my covenant. I didn't choose you to blend in. I chose you to carry something holy that disrupts darkness. And disruption is never welcomed by comfort. That's why you felt misunderstood, isolated, and even attacked by those who should have covered you. But don't let their misunderstanding make you misinterpret my hand. You are not walking through difficulty because you failed. You are walking through difficulty because I trust you to carry the mantle others dropped. I saw what you didn't see in yourself. I saw the courage buried under the hesitation. I saw the intercessor hidden behind the tears. I saw the warrior who didn't know they were being trained during the nights they almost gave up. I saw the builder in the ruins. I saw the deliverer in the fire. And now, I am bringing that identity to the surface. Do not despise this forging process. You are not being punished, you are being made unshakable. I am not trying to delay your destiny. I'm anchoring it so it won't be stolen. Because what I've placed in you is weighty. It carries consequence in the unseen realm. Your presence will interrupt cycles, not because you try to be bold, but because my spirit in you burns too brightly to be silenced. You were not given ordinary faith. You were entrusted with fire. And fire does not exist for admiration. It exists to consume what cannot remain. Your story will not be one of survival only. It will be one of supernatural authority. I am not writing a tale of escape. I'm scripting a testimony of conquest. You are going to conquer things that have held regions in bondage. You will speak, and spiritual atmospheres will bow. You will intercede, and chains that survived decades will snap in seconds. You will walk into rooms unaware of the fire you carry, and yet demons will tremble at your presence because of who walks with you. This is not religious exaggeration. This is your reality in me. But here's the key. You must stay yielded. The impact you are about to carry cannot coexist with pride. The doors that are about to open cannot be used to elevate yourself. This is not about platform. It's about purpose. I am not raising you for popularity. I'm raising you because I need someone I can trust in spaces where compromise is common. I need someone who still fears me when the blessings come. I need someone who won't dilute my truth to gain applause. And child, I have found that one in you. This is why I allowed the crushing to remove what couldn't go with you. This is why I allowed the isolation to teach you who I am when all else fades. And this is why I am now activating what I planted long ago. It's time for the world to encounter what I've formed in the cave. You are not a reaction. You are a revival in motion. And this revival won't come with glitter. It will come with groaning. It will come with grace. It will come with my presence erupting through your obedience. So don't shrink. Don't question what you carry. Don't look for ease. Look for me. And I will guide you every step forward into impact no man can take credit for, and no devil can cancel. You didn't survive all of that just to live quietly and fade into comfort. Every scar, every sleepless night, every unanswered question, and every hidden tear was not wasted. It was divine training. You've been through what many would have collapsed under. You've endured battles that were not even yours to fight. You stood when everything around you said fall. That's not random. That's refinement. I didn't allow the fire to burn you. I allowed it to forge you. And what came out of that heat is something hell can't handle. A vessel not just healed, but commissioned. You keep wondering why the attacks are still coming even after obedience. That's because obedience is not an escape from opposition. It's the trigger for warfare meant to intimidate you out of alignment. But what the enemy forgets is that my word in you is not fragile. It is a sword. It is fire. It is thunder wrapped in stillness. And when you walk with me, no scheme, no slander, no setback has the power to overturn what I've sealed. I am not in heaven hoping you make it. I am walking with you as the author who already wrote your victory. You have been marked by resilience because what you're about to do requires a backbone built in silence. You're not stepping into places that are empty. You're stepping into arenas already filled with fear, apathy, and rebellion. But where others adjusted, you will confront. Where others gave in, you will rise. Where others compromise for acceptance, you will speak truth that cuts through shadows. Because I did not raise you for politeness. I raised you for purpose. And purpose doesn't apologize for being loud when heaven is speaking. You are my weapon now. A living, breathing declaration that grace wins. That faith speaks louder than failure. That light still overtakes darkness. Your voice, your story, your journey, it's not just personal healing, it's spiritual strategy. There are people whose freedom is connected to your breakthrough. There are chains that will only fall when you step into rooms you once felt unqualified to enter. But now, I have made you ready. Not through applause, not through perfection, but through persistence, tears, and unrelenting faith. Let me be clear, you are no longer in recovery. You are in release. I heal what needed healing. I have exposed what needed uprooting. I have shown you what's real and what's empty. Now it's time to run. With clarity, with boldness, with conviction that will not need consensus. I've shut the mouths of those who mocked you. I've canceled the assignments of those who tried to delay you. And I've placed you in alignment with my perfect timing, not one moment too late. You will not walk with timidity anymore. You will walk like someone who has stood in the fire and met me face to face. Because you did. And what you saw in that fire, my faithfulness, my power, my mercy, it has changed you forever. You no longer need approval to feel worthy. You no longer need a stage to feel important. You no longer need things to go smoothly to believe I'm working. Because now you know I was with you all along. And I'm still with you. So rise, child. Speak with fire. Move with authority. Love with ferocity. And worship like the chains are already broken, because they are. You are unstoppable not because of your strength, but because you finally surrendered to mine. And in that surrender, I have clothed you in a courage this world cannot cancel. This next part of your journey is not about proving who you are. It's about revealing who I've always been through you. You've passed the test. Now step into the firestorm, and know, nothing will stop what I've ignited in you. What you're walking into now will look like war, but it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to display you. You've been hidden, not because you were forgotten, but because I was constructing something too valuable to be exposed prematurely. And now, as the atmosphere shifts and the resistance increases, don't misread the pressure as punishment. It's your unveiling. You are not walking into chaos. You are walking into confirmation. This storm you sense rising is not evidence that you're off course. It's proof that the enemy knows what's coming through you cannot be stopped. I didn't forge you in peace for no reason. I allowed the heat, the testing, the long nights, the silence, and the waiting, not to torment you, but to shape you. And you stayed. You didn't run when it got lonely. You didn't fold when things didn't add up. You didn't bow to bitterness when others received what you prayed for. Instead, you kept walking. You kept trusting. You stayed in the posture of surrender when others gave into frustration. That posture has now qualified you for this divine promotion, a season where your obedience will speak louder than your name ever could. This next phase isn't about winning by striving. It's about advancing by being. You are going to see doors open not because you knocked, but because your identity now carries the authority of heaven. What I've written over your life is echoing louder than any lie that's been spoken against you. And what's been tried in the fire is now strong enough to carry kingdom weight. You will not collapse when the wind rises. You will not question when the familiar feels far. Because now you've tasted what it means to be carried by grace, not hype. And yet, child, don't expect applause as confirmation. Don't look for validation in the reactions of others. Your clarity will provoke confusion. Your favor will stir jealousy. Your voice will challenge comfort. But you weren't called to be popular. You were called to be prophetic. You weren't chosen to blend in. You were chosen to shift the very environment you walk into. And this environment will resist you before it recognizes you. That's why you must walk in, not timidly, not halfway, but fully yielded, fully clothed in the fire that I've poured into your bones. Some of what's ahead will require decisions others can't understand. You'll have to say no when it would be easier to say yes. You'll have to walk away from what looks good but lacks my breath. You'll have to remain silent when your name is misused, trusting that vindication doesn't come through argument, but through consistency. I will handle the accusations. I will shut the mouths that try to destroy your influence. You just stay faithful. Don't try to defend your honor. Let me display your obedience. You are stepping into territory that looks wild and unmarked. But you're not going there to observe. You're going there to plant. Your footsteps are prophetic. Your declarations are disarming what's been buried in demonic deception. The things I whisper to you in the quiet, you will now speak into atmospheres where darkness once ruled. Not with aggression, but with unshakable conviction. The kind that makes demons flee and hearts awaken. Your mere presence, child, will carry heaven's fragrance. You don't have to strive to be seen. I've already made you known in the courts of heaven. This is why I allowed the testing to be so personal. Because I wasn't just building character. I was forming someone who could carry revival and still remain humble. You won't lose your focus in the spotlight because you've already seen what it means to walk in the shadows with me. You won't trade your purity for praise because you know what it costs to get here. You won't water down your words because you've watched what watered-down truth produces: emptiness, confusion, and delay. You've come too far to retreat now, and you're too filled with fire to pretend you're just beginning. So step with full confidence. The battle isn't to prove your strength, it's to release what I've cultivated within you. Let your movement testify. Let your stillness carry authority. Let your surrender birth fruit that doesn't fade. And as you keep walking, know this: everything that once threatened to take you out is now under your feet. Because you didn't just survive. You became the storm the enemy feared I would raise. What you've been waiting for has not been lost. It had been safeguarded. Not one promise has vanished. Not one word I've spoken over your life has been withdrawn. What felt like delay was actually divine protection. What looked like silence was the sound of strategy in motion. You assumed the waiting was because you weren't ready. But child, sometimes the delay has nothing to do with your preparation, and everything to do with the orchestration of what surrounds you. I was aligning more than your heart. I was aligning the conditions, the people, the atmosphere, and the moment. You see only your timeline, but I see the full blueprint. I knew if I released you too early, your blessing would become a burden. I knew that if I allowed you to step into that next level without the deep roots I've been forming in private, the weight of visibility would crush what wasn't fortified yet. That's why I shut some doors even when you begged for them to open. That's why I silenced some voices you thought you needed. That's why I didn't respond the way you expected. It wasn't distance. It was design. Now, the moment has come. Not because you forced it, but because I spoke it. The fullness of time is here, and that's a dangerous moment for the kingdom of darkness. Because what was once dormant in your spirit is now waking up with fire. What was once just hope in your heart is becoming boldness in your bones. You will move differently. You will see with clarity that was once clouded. You will feel my presence where fear used to sit. You will discern what's me and what's manipulation. You are no longer guessing. You are walking with holy precision. I am giving you back the time you thought was wasted. But it won't come in the form of replaying the past. It will come through acceleration in your present. I will do more in the next season than you've seen in the last several combined. Because when I move, I do not trickle, I flood. And I don't just restore what was stolen. I multiply it beyond recognition. You will look back on the waiting not with resentment, but with reverence. Because you will see it now. I wasn't withholding from you. I was preparing something far greater than what you prayed for. But now that it's here, it comes with a weight. This open door isn't just for your convenience, it's for kingdom advancement. The opportunities you're about to walk into will require spiritual stamina. You will be pulled on. What? Followed. I'm not telling you this to intimidate you. I'm warning you so you stay anchored. Your character must be deeper than your calling is wide. And your connection to me must remain stronger than your desire to succeed. The moment your platform gets louder than my voice, you risk missing what I actually sent you to do. So keep your ears tuned to me. Let me be the one who defines success. Let me be the one who affirms your steps. Let me be the one who says when to speak and when to stay silent. Because the favor, that's coming will make you visible, but it's your obedience that will make you unshakable. Don't be distracted by the noise. Don't be seduced by imitation doors. Not every opportunity is my invitation, and not every spotlight is from heaven. You'll know what's from me by the peace it carries and the fruit it produces. You've waited well, and now I'm turning what was hidden into what is unstoppable. The gifts I placed in you will flow freely. The words I gave you will carry weight. The prayers you whispered when no one listened are now manifesting publicly. This is not your reward. This is your release. You didn't earn it by effort. You inherited it by surrender. And what comes next will not be sustained by performance. It will be carried by my spirit. So move with confidence, not because the season is easy, but because I am with you in every step of it. You were never forgotten. You were never behind. You were simply waiting for the moment I marked. And child, that moment is now. When the pressure intensifies right at the edge of peace, don't misinterpret it as regression. That sudden weight pressing against you is not a sign that you've taken a wrong turn. It's proof you've arrived at the threshold of fulfillment. The enemy doesn't waste energy on what poses no threat. He launches his fiercest resistance when my child is closest to collision with destiny. That is why lately it feels like everything is trying to suffocate your strength, because the atmosphere around you senses the collision of heaven's timing and your obedience. The opposition you're encountering is not random. It's strategic. It is trying to make you second-guess what I already confirmed. It's trying to steal your voice before you release the very sound that shifts rooms. It's trying to distract your gaze from me just as I prepare to unveil what's been hidden. This is not the time to shrink, panic, or run. This is the moment to press with more precision than ever. Not in striving, but in stillness. Not in desperation, but in focused trust. You are not being tested again. You're being shown how much you've grown. And yes, it's coming from directions you didn't expect. From people you thought were aligned. From places you thought were stable. That's part of the refinement. I'm not only leading you into new territory, I'm showing you who cannot walk with you into it. Their absence will not hinder you. Their exit is my mercy. I'm stripping you of the weight you thought you needed so you can move with speed into this appointed moment. Let them go. Release the old agreements. I am your source, and I am not limited by who chooses not to see your calling. What's happening now is bigger than personal elevation. This is about my glory flooding environments that have long resisted transformation. You're not just being sent as a voice. You are being sent as a wave. And when I send a wave, it never returns the same. Chains will fall, cycles will snap, and dead things will come alive. Not because of your charisma, but because of your consistency with me. Your presence, lined with my word, will cause eruptions in dry places. Things that have been locked for years will swing wide when you walk forward carrying the mantle I've placed on you. And hear me, this is not the time to explain yourself to people who can't see what I've shown you in the secret place. You don't need to justify your assignment. You don't need permission to walk in your anointing. You don't need a crowd to move. You need clarity. And child, you have it. You know who I am. You've heard my voice. You've passed through the fire and emerged whole. You're not confused anymore. You're commissioned. And I am going to back you in ways that silence every doubt, not through arguments, but through undeniable fruit. Let them question. Let them criticize. Let them watch. But you keep building. You keep speaking. You keep moving like someone who knows that heaven has already gone ahead of you. I didn't bring you through everything just to pause here. This is the moment you've been preserved for. The pressure was preparation. The silence was strategy. And the warfare was confirmation. Now comes manifestation. Now comes outpouring. Now comes the public expression of what we've built together in private. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move when I say it's time. And child, it's time. Time to step into the current that's been stirring. Time to enter the spaces you once watched from afar. Time to speak the words you used to only whisper in fear. I am with you. I go before you. I surround you. And what is coming won't break you. It will reveal the force you've become in me. So brace yourself not for collapse but for convergence. Everything is coming together. What once felt scattered is becoming symphony. What once felt out of reach is now being placed in your hands. And the sound that will come from your obedience, it will shake things you didn't even aim to touch. Because that's how I move, through those who never stop saying yes. Don't get caught chasing the noise. Don't let the urgency of the world pull you from the eternal rhythm I've been training you to walk in. You are not being raised for popularity. You are being constructed for permanence. The very foundation beneath your feet has been fortified in secret so that what I now release through you cannot be shaken by the shifting winds of culture. Child, this is legacy. Not the kind written in headlines, but the kind etched in heaven. What you birth through surrender now will echo long after the world forgets the names of those it once celebrated. You have no idea how far-reaching your yes truly is. The impact of your obedience is rippling into realms you cannot yet see. Families are being restored, strongholds are being dismantled, and generational wounds are being healed because you chose to stay hidden until I called you forward. And now that I am sending you, it's not to impress, it's to impose my authority on territories that have been ruled by lies for too long. You're not walking in to take sides. You're walking in to take over, not with aggression, but with the weight of glory that cannot be faked. I am not just placing you on a platform. I am rooting you as a pillar. And the difference is this: platforms can fall, but pillars hold things up. I'm not just giving you moments. I'm entrusting you with a movement. A move of my spirit that won't be boxed by trends or timelines. A divine wave that flows through humility, through purity, through uncompromising truth. It's why the warfare was so personal, because the calling is generational. It's why the breaking went so deep, because the blessing will reach far. You're not stepping into influence to be liked. You're stepping into weight to be effective. You were not trained to echo, you were trained to carry. There is a sound that heaven is releasing through your voice, a sound that doesn't mimic the noise of the world, but shatters the silence of places that forgot what hope feels like. Your presence will not entertain, it will interrupt. It will shift spiritual atmospheres, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. And yes, there will be pressure, there will be misunderstandings, but you must not adjust the message to make others more comfortable. You must not reduce the fire to avoid offense. I didn't put you through the wilderness to turn you into a people pleaser. I brought you out of the shadows so your words would burn with weight, not hollow inspiration, but prophetic precision. Speak what I give you. Declare what I whisper. Trust that my breath is stronger than any backlash. The truth you carry is not optional. It's oxygen. This is not about you. That's why it cannot be shaken by their opinions. This is about me making myself known through a life that's yielded, available, and unafraid. When I stretch your reach, don't reach for control. When I expand your influence, don't shrink into insecurity. Just keep your heart clean. Keep your gaze set. Keep your hands lifted. Because I will continue to pour as long as you remain a vessel. The soil you sow into now may not look impressive. It may feel slow. But I am the Lord of the harvest, and I never forget a single seed. What you give now, your time, your tears, your truth, will become a well others drink from long after you've moved on. Don't despise the simplicity of your obedience. The most powerful things I've ever done have started with the smallest yes. And yours has been consistent. So watch what I do next. Watch how I silence critics not with vengeance, but with undeniable fruit. Watch how I draw hearts through the authenticity of your posture. Watch how I confound the proud and elevate the overlooked. You're not their choice, but you're mine. And that will always be enough. You've passed the test of waiting. You've endured the fire of refinement. Now you will walk in the reward that no man can manipulate. the eternal impact of being fully mine. You weren't shaped to fit in. You were carved to stretch the borders of what others thought was possible. That feeling of misplacement, that tension when you walk into rooms and sense the air shift, that's not you being too much, that's me enlarging the space through your presence. I never called you to be accepted by the structure. I called you to challenge it by simply existing in obedience. You will not always be understood, but you will always be effective. Because when you show up carrying me, things must realign. Don't minimize your light because the room feels unfamiliar. I didn't place you there for comfort. I placed you there for confrontation of what's been stagnant. There are atmospheres that have grown used to dormancy, places where fear has become culture and compromise wears a mask of wisdom. But I'm sending you not to blend in but to blaze. The fire I lit in you is not meant to be hidden beneath politeness or human approval. You carry weight now. You carry revelation that wasn't taught, it was forged in your wilderness. There will be those who question why you speak with boldness, why you move with such urgency, why you don't dilute the truth to make it easier to swallow. It's because you don't answer to the room, you answer to the throne. I didn't teach you in safe places. I taught you in storms. And that's why your authority doesn't sound borrowed. It sounds branded by the Spirit. You won't need to scream. You won't need to explain. The power will be in your presence, because I will be in you without measure. Don't let the fear of rejection make you retreat. You weren't created to be a guest, you were created to establish new foundations. If the ground feels shaky, it's because I'm breaking up what was never meant to last. And if people walk away, let them. You are not responsible for who stays. You are responsible for staying obedient. And obedience will always cost you comfort, but it will never cost you destiny. I am preparing you to carry glory into places that forgot what holiness looks like. And when you show up, they will be reminded, not by your words but by your walk. This will stretch you. It will demand focus. You'll have to guard your spirit in rooms where flattery tries to disguise deception. You'll have to walk humbly where ego is the currency. But I have trained your eyes to see deeper. I've trained your ears to hear beyond noise. And I've trained your spirit to discern not by appearance but by alignment. Lean on me. I am not sending you alone. I am going with you, in you, before you, and behind you. You are a moving tabernacle now, not a performer, but a carrier of divine presence. And don't look for signs of success by how well people receive you. Look for signs of my movement by the fruit that follows. Even in resistance, I will confirm your steps. Even when you're doubted, I will reveal the evidence of my hand. You're not walking for validation anymore. You're walking in purpose. And purpose doesn't pause when applause is missing. It presses on because heaven is backing it. You will bear fruit that exposes false roots. You will stir hunger in hearts that forgot what thirst felt like. You will cause movement where things were still for years. The systems won't always welcome you, but the Spirit will always make room. I will expand the tent through your presence. I will rewire the culture through your consistency. I will rewrite the narrative through your obedience. Do not shrink to fit. Stretch to reign. You are not just an answer to someone's prayer. You are a sign that I've heard the cries of a generation. So walk in. Speak clearly. Love fiercely. Carry me deeply. You don't need to force doors open anymore. I'm sending you into rooms I've already filled with anticipation for what's about to pour from you. And child, they won't be able to deny that I sent you. Amen.